All right, Dutch. Sorry for interrupting, but the chat is telling us that we don't have audio on stream.
Audio. There we go. Brilliant. Luke,
Fuck's sake.
thanks for joining
Jesus
us.
Christ.
Everyone says no sound.
You've got sound now. Everyone has sound now. There we go. Back to normal. Right. Welcome, everybody. You should be able to have sound now. Let's double check. I'm going to... Yes. Yep. Chat, we've got sound now.
Yeah, they do.
Brilliant. Yes, Luke. Sorry. We'll try this again. Thanks for joining us again this week, Luke. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah, no, I said it to you guys, but not to the chat. I usually don't have the schedule to afford, to get to guest on during the day. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here and hang out with you guys. Thank you all for the invitation. And I'm stoked to hang out. So thanks for inviting me.
No problem. No problem at all. It's a pleasure to have you on. And we will, before we get into the topics as well, we'll dig into a little bit of your history and how you got started in podcasting, etc. And obviously some of your awesome interviews that you've had as of late as well, because we're big fans of getting a little bit more knowledge about the actual industry itself, and you've done some awesome industries as well within that.
Thank you.
Let's crack on. Let's get the panel introduced this week. First of all, I'm going to start by welcoming back Chamberlain. It's been a little while, brother, but it's great to have you back on. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Don't know really what I've been doing. I've just got a new job.
Yeah.
Fun. It's only temporary. I'm only going to be there for a couple of months until I've got a lot going on. I'm moving back to Manchester in August.
Right.
So it's just tied me over until then. And I've been playing a game I didn't actually think I'd ever publicly say I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite.
Yes, you have.
Recently.
As well?
Yes, you have.
No
I
build.
saw you playing that as well.
I can't build to save my life on that, so I'm glad that the no build is there. But yeah, I've been playing that, and I've done the first 2 or 3 chapters of the new Life is Strange on Gamepass.
Nice.
Which I'm really enjoying. Really good game.
How is it? Is it
So
good?
that's pretty much all
Worth
I've
it?
been doing. Yeah. I'd invest a bit of time into that. It's a good game.
Okay.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. Yeah, you've been playing. You have been. To be fair, we've played some trios. We played some good game modes that you introduced us to as well on there. Obviously in the creative
I love
mode.
the imposter mode.
Imposter mode was awesome. That other mode was just
I saw
wild. It lasted forever.
There's Among Us crossover,
Oh,
right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the wolves versus chickens.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It was really awesome. Actually, it was really good fun. And to be fair, like I mentioned to Sham as well when we were playing it, it works better than Among Us. Like with Among Us, if for some reason when you're playing that game, it has serious issues in recognizing locations and where people are playing from. So everyone's got to go to North America to play and actually connect together, which is really weird. But yeah, it was a good alternative, definitely. It was a lot of fun. We had a group of us there, and me and Sean managed to trick Pat and Stu into believing we weren't imposters, which was always.
Oh, they got so offended, didn't they?
Yep. It was a really good time, really good fun. Next up, Boxer Burger. How are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Doing fantastic. I'm on a podcast with Luke again. It is how can I feel bad? It's awesome. For those who don't know, Luke and I, we go back to the days when the pandemic started. That's how Luke and I met, and we have been on podcasts during that time, like twice or 3 times a week. It feels like
Often.
Yeah, very often. We talk to each other multiple times each week, and then everything went slowly back to normal, and so we haven't been on a podcast for over a year now, at least 1.5 years, something like that. And
You could say I became a ghost.
a ghost.
Yeah. See, it wasn't funny, but I made the joke. I committed to it.
He went there.
you went there. So yeah, I know. So I'm absolutely excited to be on a show with him again. And yeah, otherwise I've been I'm doing good. Been playing a lot of games lately. Blasting through Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I love it. Everyone who enjoys Borderlands is gonna love this one too. Fantastic. yeah, been jumping around with in between a couple of other games as well. I went back to Forza Horizon 5. I played a little bit of The Witcher again, and yeah, a couple of other games. So yeah, that has kept me busy.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Before I introduce the remaining two, a quick shout out to BMG, of course, with a £1.79 super chat. Just a quick pop in to say, have a great show. So thank you very much there, BMG. Much appreciated, brother. I hope you do enjoy the show. Next up, Xbox Mick. How are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Good, man. I have been I'm off work, and believe it or not, I'm not playing that much at the moment because I am building something for the missus. So I am outside in the sun using the power tools. It's good fun. It's nice to just have a bit of a change. Other than that, I've been
manly work.
Yeah,
Love it.
building with my hands. It's been great.
Yeah,
It's a spice rack.
Yeah,
Is it wood?
spice rack. It's gonna be
Is
a
it wood,
fucking
steel,
big spice
rubber?
rack if it is. Tell you, I bought 70 quid's worth of wood. It's gonna be a hell of a spice rack. I tell you.
World's
But
biggest
other than
spice
that,
rack.
just been yeah, it's gonna be like Homer Simpson's one, with nails all sort of bent out of it. There. But no, it's been good, and like I said, we've done a bit of streaming with you, but getting you on the seas again, Dutch. It's been good, and playing some Lego Star Wars with my daughter. So yeah, it's been fun.
how is it?
Really
I'm not. Yeah, is it worth it?
It's got a few glitches. It could definitely do with a couple of patches. I had a random one today where C-3PO bounced up to the roof and just spam and went round the room. And I'm sat there going, okay, looks like I'm turning that off and starting again. But yeah, there's a couple of random bits. On the whole, though, it's nothing major, just a few bits that just throw you off. But the game itself is brilliant. And I've done all the stories now, and we're just working our way through the free play. So yeah, it's
Cool.
really good. They've done a good job. So
Yeah, because I've been on the fence whether I should get it or not. But I was thinking about it to buy it after Tiny Tina. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, snag it.
Did you
I'm
get a
100%
review
in.
code then?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, Buxenberger.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question. Can you please repeat it?
Didn't you get a review code?
No, I didn't. I was promised one, but it never came. So
I applied for one as well, but didn't get one. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it happens.
It happens.
yeah, it happens.
Last but not least, of course, joining us again, back again this week. He's not at work this week, so Finn, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
I'm good. I didn't game much, but yesterday we had I had a marriage from a lot of community members here. So Robin and Linda, happy wedding. It was a perfect day, nice weather. I met even some of the British people who fly over here for the wedding. So it was the Roxy Bay, Pink Ninja Bunny were here. Of course, the rest, the Dutch people. Today I went to the cinema with my son to Sonic the movie 2.
Yeah,
Finally.
I really want to see that.
Oh, it's
I've heard
brilliant,
it's better
mate.
than
Jim
the first
Carrey.
one.
It's way better, and it's Jim Carrey at his best, man. He did a phenomenal job on this one.
Yeah.
I had the unlucky thing that my son is 7 years, so we went to the Dutch version, but I'm gonna watch it again in English with my wife. But the movie is great, man. It's well done. It's really well done. So I want to a shout out for Robin and Linda for the wedding, and also for Dave Betterman. He's Betterman77 on Twitch, and he got a GoFundMe for UK Desirous because he's losing his house to a bloody landlord thing. I don't really get how it works in the UK with the landlord stuff, but we reached a target. He had a 12-hour stream.
Yeah.
For £1,000, and he did it. So congrats, Desi, on that as well. So he can move on with his family.
Nice.
And the little bit of gaming I did was I finished Octopath Traveler, all the stories.
Awesome
Yes.
game.
Yeah.
How many hours did it take you?
55.
Oh, that's really quick. It took me like 120 hours to finish
But
all
I
stories.
only did all the 4 stories, right? Because then I found out that after you did, all the 8 story 4 things,
Mhm.
there's an after story about all the
Yeah.
stories. So I'm gonna I have to do that still, but I did all the main
The 8
4
main
ones.
characters. Okay.
I
Great.
did that, and I did a little bit of Returnal and Elden Ring on the PlayStation 5, and a little bit of Forza on Xbox,
Yeah.
and a lot of Super Smash Brothers and Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Nintendo Switch.
you've been a Nintendo fiend these last couple of weeks, have you?
Well, mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Super Smash is a game. You can play if I'm like having like half an hour to play or something,
Yeah.
before soccer or whatever. Because it's been pretty busy in life for me at the moment. But yeah, then the Switch, you can just take a couple of games on Super Smash, unlock some characters. Well, that's the goal. Yeah, that's easy to do, right? So.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I'm really loving the Switch Pro controller.
The Switch Pro controller is awesome. It's pretty much it's necessary if you've got a Nintendo Switch and you're an adult.
If you have the Joy-Con thing, you have this ringed thing, where you put Joy-Cons in. What's that called?
Yeah, the recharger, like charging dock bit.
Yeah. But if I press the like A and B, if I want to press 1, I always press 2, because my hands are too big for the small buttons.
Archie,
but
you're
the Pro
muted.
controller.
Every time you try to talk, you're muted.
That helps a lot. That helps a lot, definitely. Yeah, I was eating some nuts and I didn't want to hear you guys chew. So, no, I had the Switch for like 4 years or whenever it came out. And I usually play the Switch only in handheld mode. It's for me a handheld console. But recently I bought the Pro controller for my kids actually because they started to play Mario Kart and this Mario Odyssey with me, and that's when I learned how good that controller actually is. The battery life is insane. It's the ergonomics are fantastic. It really is a fantastic controller.
Yeah, it is. And I'm really digging the games, man. I had a period, when I didn't play any Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of catching up now on that thing. And if you look at Luigi's Mansion 3, that's
awesome
like
game.
That's Ghostbusters, Nintendo
It's
version it's brilliant. So
yeah, I just bought Metroid Dread.
I saw it.
Yeah, and we're going on a family vacation in a week, and I can't wait to play it. I bought it specifically for that journey. So,
but isn't that like
handheld mode?
Isn't that like the Elden Ring of Nintendo? So aren't you gonna rage the hell out of it?
Dude, I don't have anything against difficult games. Some of my favorite games of all time are considered really hard games, like Hollow Knight. I love that game. One of the best Metroidvanias ever made. I don't have anything against difficult or challenging games. What I don't like is when challenge or difficulty is achieved by the game being simply unfair to you. So I died like hundreds of times in Cuphead. Cuphead also challenging game, but I did not die once in that game and didn't think, well, it was my fault. I always knew I made this mistake and that's why I died.
Yeah.
And I died hundreds of times in Elden Ring, and I had no idea what I could have done better. So that's what my problem was with Elden Ring, to be honest.
Well, I have the same problem as you. So people can attack me all you want on Twitter as well, but I don't get the game sometimes, man. It's I mean I know the purpose is that you die, right? I mean that's the purpose. But sometimes you just die out of nothing.
Out of nothing, and you don't know what you could have done better, and that's actually my issue with the difficulty in Elden Ring. But it's still a good game. I already see stuff shown here again. I'm not hating on Elden Ring. I'm just saying it's not that masterpiece everyone says it is. It is a great game. It is not a masterpiece.
I think it's
Well,
a masterpiece. I don't think it's
we're gonna have a
perfect.
serious
but I think
argument
you
today.
can be
Yeah.
a masterpiece without being perfect in my mind. But that's the problem with reviews, right? Is they're so subjective, and what one
Absolutely.
word means to one person could be very different from another.
Yeah.
And then you think about, and Boxy, you can really elaborate on this, but like when you speak multiple languages, words don't always translate well. And so when you get
Yeah.
a place like Twitter where everyone's trying to use words together, and you have all those opinions, plus all those translations, plus
Scheiße.
I'd argue
Only
some
limited characters to
Yeah.
express yourself
I'd argue
properly.
some
Yep.
people on Twitter don't even try to use words together.
That's probably
True that.
Hello, Big Cloud.
Oh, they just Go can't, wrong, which is funny.
Never been to a maths. I've never been to an English lesson in their life. Some of them, I swear.
What?
Yes, obviously we have BitCloud joining as well this week. BitCloud, welcome, brother. How are you been today? What you been up to?
Busy. Let me tell you. What's up?
What's up indeed? You would have been even busier if you'd managed to get the packs. I seen all the posts from everybody else and going, and I was like,
Dude,
I'm sure BitCloud
they've
is
been
both.
relentless. They've been relentless with the DMs with that. It's crazy. I'm bummed that I couldn't go, but I mean, hey, it's always next year. That's the cool thing. So
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be some good announcements coming out of there though this year for sure. From what I've been given to see so far, so this looks pretty good.
Nice. Nice. What? So what else have you been up to? What you been playing?
To be honest, not much actually. After the whole Elden Ring thing was done, I kind of haven't really been like crazy heavily in the game. Aside from, well, I guess you could say Master Duel. Play Master Duel, but aside from that, I haven't really invested any more time into anything like the AAA type of games. Like I didn't go back and play Horizon, which I still got to go and do. I haven't bothered played that or anything else. So it's like I'm just laid back.
Yeah, that's fair enough. No, to be fair, it's once you've finished a big game, specifically Elden Ring, which no doubt you've got over 100 hours in. You've
Almost 200.
Oh, Jesus Christ! But once you put that much time into a game, there's no wonder you feel the need to step, or even not even feel the need. You just don't have a need to play a game. Like you're kind of out of it for a bit. Because I get like that as well. Like I've been playing something for that long, you don't know what to play afterwards.
I think what you need after a game like that is a palate cleanse, isn't it?
Yeah. Like Assassin's Creed, for example, Dutch, I'm pretty damn sure after you beat Assassin's Creed, you're like, yeah, I don't want to play any more Assassin's Creed for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah,
I haven't even played the expansions on that. Once I'd finished Valhalla, I just went, I'm just waiting.
Somebody tried to give me shit for that before, for Odyssey. They was like, oh, you did 100% Odyssey. I'm like, do you know how many hours it takes to platinum this damn game? Because I platinumed Odyssey. I was like, you know how many damn hours it took me to platinum this game? You really think I'm going to dedicate another 40 hours to do some damn DLC for a game that I got my money's worth?
Yeah.
Pointless. It's pointless. It's pointless. And I'm glad I jumped in. I heard you guys talking about Elden Ring. Boxenberg, looks like we're going to fight. Now I'm playing. But everybody's giving their opinion on the game, And I agree. Difference of opinion is definitely, you know what the problem with difference of opinion? It's like nobody can handle a difference of opinion. Everybody has to have this bubble. Oh, the game's got to be great. It's got to be this, that, and the third. I'm like, listen, not everybody is going to have your same opinion about anything. You can have a different opinion and move away from it and still walk away fine. But the shit I've seen this week, oh my God, there has been some craziness. Like apparently people have this mindset that opinions can be wrong.
Yeah.
Something that is subjective can be wrong.
You're talking about the entire DLC.
Something that has nothing to do with your excitement at all. It's somebody else's can be wrong. I don't get it. I mean, there are games out here that have been butchered by the media, numerous fans that some of you guys might have played and gone, that game was actually a gem to me, low key. How many people have liked Rise, the game?
Yeah.
On Xbox.
Me did.
Yeah.
Right.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
How
But
many
yeah.
people like the Order 1886?
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
There
I
are
thought- I
tons
think
of
I-
games I
mean-
can name off the top of my dome
Yeah.
that were slandered by the media, slandered by the communities, whether it be Xbox or PlayStation, and yet there is a big or strong group of people. Hell, I like Days Gone. There's a lot of people who hated Days Gone. I thought Days Gone had potential to be great.
Absolutely.
But the problem is a lot of people don't understand that an opinion is what it is. An opinion. It should not hurt your preference of what it is. Now, when you give this type of stuff, this ridiculous energy, and you amplify it, and it goes far past the spectrum, and you lose context, yeah, you kind of lost everybody in the long run. And that's the issue that I'm seeing with the internet right now. It's kind of pathetic. I'm about to really reach
Quite
out
a
to somebody.
toxicity within the
that-
gaming community in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I'm saying there seems to be quite a strong toxicity within the gaming community in the last couple of years.
And this is sad. Like, it's every time we get either a big release title or we're getting close to an event, there's always some bullshit somebody has to be upset about.
Yeah.
For once, can you just sit down and enjoy the hobby?
Yeah.
Can you really, like, get through these backlogs of games that you know damn well you have? That's the other thing. How many do say this? Oh, I got so many games I get to play, but yet you look at them, they're not touching them. But they're on Twitter 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
You see what I'm saying? That's the sad part.
Especially-
That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's funny that you bring that up because I had a long conversation today with someone in the DMs, someone I really respect about this. And we both had the thought that this happens more often when you don't have major news. Because usually these bad takes from some fanboys just get buried in other topics. But since we have a complete dry streak in news, for weeks now we have not gotten any major or significant topics to talk about.
Here's a wild part.
People make their own news. Luke, last week your podcast, come on, completely
death of
taken out of
PlayStation.
context. Yeah, and
Here's the wild part, Box. So we had one of the best months I can honestly say for
Yeah.
a generation period. We had like
Yeah.
5 AAA games in 1 month.
yeah, agree.
You would think for a month that stacked, nobody would have time for dumb shit like this.
Yeah.
But again, they still found a way to piss on every single thing that came out that month. If it was
Right.
if it was Gran Turismo, Gran Turismo's trash. Oh, there's Elden Ring's overrated. Even though these are the same dudes who hype up Bloodborne and say Bloodborne's amazing, which I fucking love Bloodborne. But they're like, oh, but that studio's overrated because they made a third-party game and it outsold or it outdid a game that we were hyped up to begin with as well, which is Horizon. It's like, again, who cares? Play the damn game. Maybe you'll see why it scored lower. That's another thing. People lie to themselves. You ever notice that people take screenshots? They hide behind these little screenshots, like, "Oh, this is the most impressive thing I've ever seen," and then they'll have like these long-winded comments behind them. And goddamn well, they didn't put that many hours into this damn game to begin with to say, "Oh, no game's achieving this." I'm like,
all in photo mode.
yeah, exactly. Like, a very
Yeah.
processed mode. No shit. Do it when it's moving. Oh, it looks normal. Oh no, that's on the developer. It's on the developer now. So you're using the Xbox. It's on the developer.
Yeah.
So you see how the shit goes? It's dumb to me. Like the whole situation gets weird every single day. Every
Yeah,
day.
it does.
You should see my DMs. I should show you my DMs. My DMs are ridiculous. Are you going to talk about this? I'm like, no. You have an opinion about this? You have an opinion on this? About what? About this? I'm like, oh, somebody's opinion? No.
But you don't have graphic designers. You don't have graphic designers. I have like 10 or 12 each day. Graphic designers want to make me.
In his DMs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one. She's super nice, but I have like one, but not a whole bunch.
You get this message, somebody follows you and you're trying to be nice and then follow back. And then like within 2 seconds, there is this like shitload of text that they make you emblems and avatars and I'm like
That's nice, but
don't you look that? Yes. Don't you look? I mean, Stuff Sean already did it. So why would you bother? I mean,
Man, you know, again, I try not to be. I don't let like stuff like that bother me because you know.
Well,
Again,
stop, Sean. Sorry, Sean
Yeah.
Labrie. Sorry.
Oh, Sean Briscoe, yeah. But I don't
Yeah.
let like stuff like that, like from artists or anything, bother me because you know that's just them, you know, doing their job type of thing. They're offering their service. But if it's you just getting bombarded by shit you clearly don't care about, for example, if I was to hit you up right now and say, "Hey, did you guys know that Phil Spencer? No, not Phil Spencer. Did you guys know that Jim Ryan was caught outside getting his mail?
Oh shit!
Like, do you care about that? You care about him going outside to get his mail? Like, who gives a shit? I don't give a damn.
It is. It's always the
Okay.
most random, like, like things to get upset about that doesn't need to be. Like the whole opinion on DLC. To be honest, it was an opinion, and B, the fact that it wasn't meant to come out. It was obviously wasn't meant to call it DLC. What he meant was, it looks like more of the same, and it didn't look like there
It
was
looks more of the
any
same,
mechanics.
which is fine. I mean, it's the same engine. Like, just people are missing that. It's the same engine going over. It's a continuation for the same engine. So you're going to see some refinements, which you do see. That's a lot of things people need to understand. A lot of the games that we saw on PlayStation 4 are not going to look that vastly different on PS5. You're going to see more refinements, you know, better textures, better lighting. You're going to see better shots in certain angles, right? Better usage of tech and stuff. Like, for example, what you see in Horizon compared to Horizon 2 with the water. You see what I'm saying? They use different techniques. It actually looks much more like it looks real. You see refinements in that stuff. So when I said this on a live stream, dude was like, "Oh, you're capping. It looks so much." I'm like, dude, stop. Like, this is like, just stop. Go play the game. It doesn't look that much crazier or different. It looks great. I'm not taking anything from that studio. I love what they've done, and I'm excited for what they're doing. And same thing goes for Naughty Dog. Even though I'm not a big fan of Last of Us Part 2, I'm excited for the future. You know what I'm saying? For what we got on the hardware. And Unreal Engine 5 is also a prime example of what you're going to get with these consoles. So you are pretty much getting, Dutch, you already know, you're already getting the next-gen PC-like level of a performance here in these consoles. And people don't talk about this. They talk about other stuff. And it's like, okay, well, we'll see when we get there. But the thing that surprised me this week as well, so I had people blowing up my DMs like, "Oh, I guess you're too good to cover this the rumor of God of War news happening." And I'm sitting there going, you do realize I talked to some of these developers, right? There was no announcement that was going to happen this week.
Yeah.
None. There is one, they lied to me. They played me, but there was no information of no damn news going around this week. It was a big rumor from a quote unquote insider. That's another thing people need to stop going over the top with is these insiders. I get it. You want to have a go-to guy for stuff to be excited for, but sometimes it's best just to be patient and wait. You already had a great month. You have a lot of stuff to look forward to. What's the point of overhyping up something that you know damn well there's no info out for? None. You set your expectations high for what? Disappointment. That's the problem.
I was going to say, like, I didn't hear any rumors whatsoever, so if that was apparently
people are going around, man.
I didn't see it.
I've seen Cory Barlog today talking about it and being excited about the game. That's all I need.
Yeah.
He said, you know, and speaking of, and I don't know what happened to him on Twitter. I know he deleted his Twitter, which
account,
that caused a lot of weird tension. But you know, he's there. He's with the team. He's excited. Again, if he's excited after the masterpiece he gave you with the last one, you should be excited. Simple as that. Move on. Yeah. When he's ready, when the team's ready, the team will be ready to show it. It's just that simple. That's really it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point putting extra stress on a developer? Have we not learned anything from Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
We not learned anything from Russian. We got to September. I will give it to September. If we don't get anything in September, then it's more likely delayed, which will be weird. But I don't think it's delayed. I think September is probably where it's going to drop.
I'm not sure.
And if it is delayed, it's delayed.
Yeah.
You think?
And that's it. It's not a big deal if it is delayed. I'd rather it be the best it can be.
Yeah. I think most games at the moment are, you know, the next sort of, I'd say 12 months or so are probably going to suffer with a delay at least 12 months.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
It's not one thing, it's another, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, like a lot of people don't understand. We're still in this pandemic. Yeah, we're at a better time now. It feels a little better, you know, a little bit more open. But the oxygen is still kind of cut. You know what I mean? We're still restricted by this COVID restriction. So it's like a lot of that stuff factors in. A lot of people just don't understand. Not a lot of these developers can get a lot of things you want done at home. They don't have access to all this stuff. Yeah, it might be easier for them, but at the same time, working from home as opposed to working in an environment with everybody else, we all can piggyback off of one another and, you know, help each other out. It's a different story. So we'll see when we get there. And Dutch, you already saw how I felt about the Halo thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I just want co-op in that game now. I'm not
still no
bothered about
co-op.
this update.
Still no co-op.
That's all I want. I'm not
Yeah.
bothered about the update on the 20. Is it on the 2nd or 3rd of May? I'm not bothered at all
Third
because I know
or-
the co-op's not there, so I'm still not interested. I'm still waiting for the co-op.
Imagine that, man. Everybody's still waiting on the key feature. Should have been there at the beginning, co-op, and they give you one. They give like 2 maps.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's bad, man. I'm sorry. That's bad.
Yeah,
It'll get better. It'll get better over time, but it's one of them things that in a year or two's time we won't even remember. But while we're living in it, it hurts at the moment.
I could agree with you, but that comes down to the speed at which they drop this content.
Yeah.
If it takes them, you know what I mean? If it takes them this long to drop 2 maps, how long do you think you're really gonna be waiting for that co-op? You know, for that addition. And that's the question you got to ask.
I've been saying similar things. 100% with you. If you look at what games Halo tries to compete with, we are talking about Fortnite, we are talking about Warzone, and all these games. And if you look at the cadence, how often they drop new content, that's what people are used to. Having 2 maps after 6 months, and still key features missing, and other stuff that was promised, like Forge, like ray tracing upgrade, etc. Co-op, of course. All these things are still missing. There is something really weird. And you are right, the pandemic is still going on, but we also had a lot of time to adapt to these new methods of working, and a lot of companies, also in the software development business, go to a kind of hybrid model, and that's here to stay. That's not pandemic mode anymore. So 343 had enough time and budget and people. I always say that they have the biggest budget in the Xbox Game Studios. They have the biggest studio with more than 500 people.
And this is what they got the show for it. Like, you know what I mean? That's bad. And it kind of adds on to the theory, like this whole pro. Even though we don't need pro units, but I actually think we might get them on some road down the road.
I said that they won when they launched.
I actually do. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do it? These pro models have been a success in the last gen. And honestly, if you think about it, this is an optional upgrade for you as a gamer. And if you think about how fast technology moves on, I already have a PC with a Zen 3 CPU, and the RDNA 3 GPUs are coming out this year, and by 2024, 25, we are talking about RDNA 4 and so on. And I just think an 8-year console cycle, 8-year console cycle doesn't represent the state of the art technology anymore. So why wouldn't they do pro cycles? I would be surprised.
Right now, the consoles have really legit hit that market where they're pretty much the top, well, not only say the top tier, but they're up there with like the more higher end gaming laptops in the line. You know what I'm talking about? Like they just go up the line, they upgrade the specs. So we're at that point with the consoles. You're getting the performance you need for sure. But I agree. Like it just, the weird part about it is it just feels like we're not touching the boxes. You know what I mean? Like not yet. But at the same time, by the time we get there, it will be questionable because, you know, are they going to be in the studios by then? Are we really going to start revving up these consoles? You know, it's really going to be interesting.
Well, where's the Switch Pro model, right? That's been announced for like 2 years.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You ain't gonna see no Switch Pro. You ain't gonna see no Switch Pro.
Yeah, that's Switch Pro. Making the next Switch out of this.
That would be the next Switch, the Switch Pro.
Yeah, exactly.
Even more outdated. Things gonna be said. I doubt it's gonna be like the Steam Deck. It still ain't gonna have voice chat. It's gonna be. It ain't gonna be like the Steam
It'll eventually have the same processor as the Galaxy S10.
I can see it. I can see it. Dudes eat it up and buy it. Oh, it's. I buy it for hands. Okay.
Yeah.
Luke, do you play Halo?
Yeah, from time to time. I know why. I mean, like, it's not a secret why their content drip has been so slow. they need to be applauded for getting a quality gameplay experience out the door. It's just the amount of content that's been kind of coming. To their credit, I think they've done a very good job at communicating with the community regularly and expanding and reacting where they could as far as getting their live services going. It's very odd to me that they missed the mark so badly on their season 1, given that they've got very successful season pass models from Gears of War and Sea of Thieves, both of which nailed the way that they distributed progression. That said, we absolutely know why co-op was delayed. We know what's going on with Forge. We know what what's happening with the Battle Royale stuff, which I think is fantastic. I'm all for Battle Royale because it's important to appeal to more than just the hardcore, right? It's important to appeal to just more than the old school. You've got to appeal to the masses and the casuals. Without a doubt, I love Halo Infinite. I think it's a fantastic gameplay experience. I really did enjoy the campaign, but there is no doubt about it that they missed the mark when it came to progression and advancing kind of the gameplay experience in a live service element. What scares me most, actually, is that they managed to get across the finish line so successfully with Halo Infinite, knowing how bad it was at one point in terms of development, but then to see how the franchise has been handled from the show to the comics to the books to the gameplay experiences, and to see some really impressive highs with some equaled out lows. And what's all fascinating about that is to watch those highs and lows be handled by the community. Some people think that certain parts of it are amazing, others think it's tanked, and then they will flip, on a different aspect of it. So Halo's in a really unique spot for sure. But I jump in from time to time, but it is not a regular go-to for me in terms of live service games anymore.
Yeah.
Like I go through, I finished my Tenra event, I finished my
we
the
used to
last one?
have
Spec Ops, that kind of
drunk
thing.
streams on Fridays after my show. I used to do it on Alex stream. We used to play it, but the thing is, there's just no drive to play it. You know what I mean? There's not much else to really do. We did all the custom lobbies. You got all the fun you could possibly want out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, you can argue, okay, you can do it on 2 new maps, but it's like, no, it's going to be still the same. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a mystery towards the red, but again, how many matches does it usually take to learn a map, guys? Like 5
Well,
maps,
I'll push
5,
back
10
on that a
maps?
little bit in that maps are an important factor, and they do need more. Lord knows they do. They launched too dry, but in many of my favorite games, I'm playing on the same maps over and over again, but it's a matter of a feeling of progression, feeling of different gameplay elements within it. There's only one map in Halo Infinite right now that I do not like, and it's the asymmetrical one that drops into different modes. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but the rest of them I rather enjoy. But it's the matter of progression. My battle pass is done. My events are pretty quickly done. Yeah. And then not having different elements of that experience in that combat. But for a long time, we used to pay, $15 for 3 maps and a map pack back in the day, 360 era. I don't need maps so much as I need unique experiences within that sandbox. And it sounds like that is coming. It could not have happened in a better scenario for Halo Infinite, that there are no new competitors on the market. Call of Duty and Battlefield didn't factor. So they coincidentally had time. That year delay was crucial. But when you have games that are able to constantly adapt like Fortnite, when you have games that are constantly adapting like Call of Duty Warzone and Destiny 2 and other live service elements that serve that multiplayer shooter need, they gotta get it together, and there's no
need for it at that point,
right? But I will go again and say the narrative against 343 is very silly in my mind, because for all the problems we know they went through, they got over the finish line. They delivered a decent campaign, needs more experiences without a doubt, not forgiving that, but the gameplay is there, and when the gameplay is there, you still got something to work with.
I think it's ironic that Fortnite has actually taken something out and made the game better. Like Sean was saying before, Sean was saying he's got into the no build mode. I have to say, even I've looked at that and thought, if I'm going to play it, that'd be for me, because I'm not interested in the build stuff.
It's
But
fantastic. No
but-
apologies.
Taking
It's
stuff
fantastic.
away
But at
and
the same
still
time,
put it out.
they know their audience though, and that's the
Yeah.
scary part. They just know their
Yeah.
audience. They know what they got to put in there. They know what content they got to drop. They know how consistent they got to be and creative. So they got that down packed, right? This is 343. These are the guys we entrust with a iconic franchise. Do they not know what everybody wants? Do they not know what you need in the game at this point? You know,
Yeah.
like the playlist
Yeah.
thing, it's played out to me personally. I would love just to be able to pick a game mode and stick with it and play it versus having to play through a variety of game modes that I don't give a shit about. I don't want to play capture the flag. I don't care for that. It's like, come on. I'm saying,
I mean, I agree with Luke that at its core, Halo Infinite is a fantastic game. I enjoyed the campaign. I was one of those who actually also enjoyed the story. I liked
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
the twist at the end and everything. No complaints there. I'm just saying that you can always bring up the excuse of the pandemic, and that definitely is and was a thing. And it's good that Halo Infinite got that delay, but on the other hand, it's Xbox's biggest franchise and IP. Again, with the biggest studio with more than 500 employees, it's a massive studio and a gigantic budget. And they had 6 years to prepare that game. And when you launch a live service game in the year almost 22, it was the end of 21 when it came out, yeah? You know how live service games work, and you know what fans want, and you have to have a plan. And I've said this on another show. I think Halo is such a big pillar for Xbox, and they wanted to have Halo ready for launch, and the studio failed them. They had 5 years to prepare for a console launch, which is probably the biggest milestone you can have in terms of a game release, to be that big launch game for a console, and they failed them. Now Xbox has another almost a year gap in first-party releases, where they actually wanted to rely on Halo being that gap filler with new content, new modes, new stuff, and 343 is failing them again. They're just not delivering it. And at the end of the day, we can always say, they have troubles, and they had and make excuses. At the end of the day, the game launched as a single-player campaign in a great state. Multiplayer was fun for a minute, but then it fell off. It is just 343 has not delivered, and I'm not taking out Joseph Staten anymore of the person responsible for it. He's been on the team for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
People always say, but now we have Joseph Staten. Yeah, we have him for 2 years. He could have done something about this. So I think 343 has probably some great developers, because like Luke said, the core gameplay mechanic itself is fantastic. It feels great. The movement is great. The addition with the grappling hook was fantastic. Pardon me. Fantastic. No doubt. But at the end of the day, Halo isn't where it's supposed to be, and that with the biggest budget and the biggest team. And that just screams to me failure of management. I'm sorry, and I'm not making any excuses here anymore.
I agree with you.
Across the board, the management issues are definitely still there. And I've said it's more management of the teams. They're not really it doesn't feel like they're working together to get things done. It feels like
the left hand doesn't know what the right hand does.
Right. It's like they all have different ideas, and one has their own set, and it's like, they just clash, and you're like, okay, that doesn't work well. Okay, let's go with that. And it doesn't come off genuine with the audience, and also the pandemic. Like we all have to be a little lenient to him for sure, because everybody's under the pressure. But I don't want the pandemic to come to the point where it's literally used as a crutch for incompetence. So I'm saying incompetence at the end of the day is what we're arguing about here, you know, and your overall, again, your plan for how you want to drop content, how you want to go about the content, vice versa. If you're taking out key features like co-op and you're saying, okay, don't worry, we'll make up for it in the multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
I expect this multiplayer to be thriving. I expect this multiplayer to have options and a lot of accessibility and all that. And it's not there.
Yeah.
So it's like, you took step backs in everywhere, in every aspect, and that's the harsh thing to say because they delivered a lot on the gameplay. It's fun. It's a fun game. It's especially if you have a team and whatnot, you're doing it. But that's where I'm at with the whole thing.
Before
I'm still surprised that they haven't. Oh, go on. Sorry, Dutch.
I was going to say a quick shout out to Fleety Snake there with a £5 super chat, just simply saying greetings all. So thank you, Fleety, and greetings to yourself. Hope you enjoy the show. But yeah, go on, Mick. What were you going to say there, bro?
No, just to probably finish up because I don't think we came here to talk about Halo, but it always seems to revolve, doesn't it? Back to Halo. But I like Luke said before, like Sea of Thieves nailed the season pass. You know, it's so good, and the progression is so rewarding. And I'm just surprised that more of the studios from Microsoft haven't looked at it and gone, "That's for us."
Yeah,
you know, they talk about, even Rare talk about it and say, you know, we do really well out of all this. Just seems odd that more of them aren't going for it.
They struck lightning in a bottle with the Disney deal with them for sure. With the Pirates of the Caribbean, I was like, damn, that was actually brilliant to sell it. Yeah. So it was good.
Oh, that was a stroke of genius.
Yeah, and we've just finished that up. Actually, the Sea of Thieves expansion the other day because I'd done half of it and then didn't play through the rest, and that was mainly because I obviously was playing through with the crew and then we didn't finish it up together. But just finished that and it was awesome. And to be honest, it was a case of when it finished, you were like, oh, I kind of wish it would.
Oh, you're disappointed. You wanted more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of wished it would continue because it was a good little story that obviously had an actual story, which is awesome for Sea of Thieves. And of course, they've got all these little tall tales and things, but I really want Sea of Thieves to be able to get into a position going forward, and fingers crossed they will, where they bring in more of these longer stories like this one was, where it was like 5 full chapters. And you've got a lot to do.
We're not all that lucky, right? That if we shield 2 times, that we get the Shrouded Ghost. I'm not saying who did, but somebody shilled only 2 times.
You'll get it. I was going to say you'll get it soon because they're bringing out the event for the Shrouded Ghost soon.
Yeah.
After 4 years, about time. Don't you think?
Yeah. Good luck. I mean, shout out to them though, because they actually managed to keep their game alive for one, and also debut their game unlike a certain game that we were waiting for. Skull and Bones that never saw the light of day.
What? What's that? Skull and Bones? What's
Skull
that?
and Bones for that game?
Never heard of it.
Never happened.
What's that?
It's that's coming out on the same day as Beyond Good and Evil 2. Fun fact.
Oh man! So never.
The 5th of never.
It's also like 20 years in development now, right?
Yeah. I don't know what happened. They had like this crazy roadmap for it. We saw Kraken, we saw ships. Like, okay, cool, we're gonna see that.
I played the damn game at Gamescom. I played it like what was it, 4 years ago or so.
And when you play it next time, it won't be anything like that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It won't.
Nope.
That is funny.
Oh dear me. Boxenberger, they're saying they Mr. Joanna Dark says
I summoned Captain Clueless.
I can't get over showing your cheeks on TV. Master Chief does not do that. Come on. Put your cheeks away, Boxenberger.
Yeah, I still think Nick from Xbox Era looks a lot more like the Master Chief than I do. So
I agree with Miss Joanna Dark here.
But yes, let's dig in. I want to get Luke involved a little bit here. I want to hear the backstory on Xbox Expansion Pass. How did that come to be, Luke? How did you get into content creation, interviewing, and of course podcasting?
Oh man. Okay, so I will give you an abbreviated version. A decade ago, I was a journalist in the soccer world. And I use soccer specifically because it was American soccer, Major League Soccer, and the different tiers there. I ran a podcast there that was very successful. And I found I had a love for asking questions and hearing from people. And it's funny in the soccer football world, you're talking to millionaires, right? You're talking to these people that they're playing a game for millions of dollars, which is kind of cool. And that gradually went away, and I went back to teaching middle school, which was fun. And in 2017, I started co-hosting the Xbox Drive with Sean Capri, which is a successful Canadian podcast, which I would point you guys to within the Xbox community. Just a fun, jovial show. And Sean and I we went to E3 2019 together, absolute blast. But in 2019, we found we both wanted different things, and we had kind of a bit of a breakup, which we're now on very good terms. But we wanted to make different things. I wanted a more serious and in-depth show where we are talking to developers and asking questions of people that are in the industry. And he wanted more casual fun, like Silly Space, which is both are fantastic to have. And so I split off and started the Xbox Expansion Pass and started bringing in developers from all over the gaming space, indie, AAA, AA, voice actors, industry equality advocates, and just trying to speak to different voices. And the goal of the show is to expand our knowledge of the gaming industry. And I focus on Xbox. I love all platforms, but my beat, as I call it, is Xbox. And so that's where I chose to focus it. And since that started in, I want to say October 2019, perhaps, over 70 guests, 50 plus are industry like creators, developers of games, voice actors, that kind of thing. And I'm on episode 128 and still going strong. Loving it.
Yeah, it's
Brilliant
awesome. It's
show as
awesome.
well.
It's to be
Really
honest,
enjoy
it's absolutely surprising that you haven't got a much bigger following, because some of the interviews you've done recently have been absolutely awesome. If you want to just kind of rattle off a few of the, I would say I want to hear who your favorite interview has been so far as well, because you've had a lot. So who's your favorite so far?
And who your dream one is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So like I said, 50 plus guests across several years, so it's a little tough to look back. More recently, I think a lot of people kind of caught wind of XEP last week with Lauren Lanning, because he joined me. He's the creator of Oddworld, which has got a lot of history in both PlayStation and Xbox, and he made the comment that PlayStation Plus was devastating to his studio, and that was taken out of context by a lot of people.
Yeah, it was.
Because he was really speaking to the dangers of a delay, because they'd made a PlayStation Plus deal for Oddworld Soulstorm based on the number of PlayStations available and the timing and how many units they could sell. And it turns out they had to delay to finish a project. It was tough to develop games. And more than 4 million got their hands on it via PlayStation Plus versus the estimated, I think it was 100,000 that they were thinking they could get from PS Plus. Which is, he noted and used the word devastating, that caught a lot of wind, which is really interesting, I think, because he was not disparaging Sony. In fact, he, in the interview, went on to say, this is not Sony's fault at all. But the headline does indeed write itself. He was a recent one on. I had Brian Wagner of Crystal Dynamics on the show.
Nice.
To discuss kind of his career. That was really interesting, because he works currently with Play Avengers, the Marvel's Avengers game, which, with no apologies, I enjoy that game. With no apologies, I'm at it. But he also has experience working at EA and for Madden. He talked about the Madden development life cycle, which is really cool. And then what's the other one that I recently had? Stephen Frost working at Digital Eclipse. They do compilations like the Mega Man collection and the upcoming Cowabunga collection. He talked about that. And just last week posted an interview, or this week posted an interview with the Shredders developers, which was really cool. They talked about how Xbox came to them and they had to scale up for Game Pass and things like that.
Really?
It was interesting, I thought. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. Scale up the game. So is it a case of did they end up having to put more funding in and go, okay, we need to do more? Or what was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like had like a team of 5, didn't they? And he had to change it to like 15 or something.
Exactly. Yeah, you did listen. You're the man. All right.
I've had you on while I've been working outside building this greenhouse. That's what I've been listening to.
Thank you.
It's a greenhouse. Oh, it's a greenhouse. Oh,
Yeah, it's just a giant
absolutely
spice rack.
made my day.
Not a spice rack.
With lots of spice racks in it.
But yeah, so
I thought it was a naughty corner.
it's also
I
really
really got one of
interesting to
them.
hear though that teams are feeling the need going into a service like that going, oh, we need to do more. We feel like we need to do more and get bigger. And is it a case of produce more then in this sense? Do they feel like they need to add more to the game, or was it just?
It was for the way that Dirk described it. His name was Dirk Van Welden. He's the CEO of Fun Punch. He described it as they had a really solid vertical slice. And if you've played the game, you can tell that there are sections of that game that are absolutely great. It didn't click with me in some places the way I thought it would based on footage. But they had a really solid vertical slice. They showed it off. Xbox came to them and said, we want this for Game Pass. And with that moment, they were like, oh, with Game Pass comes a lot of eyes, a lot more attention, a lot more potential players. And we know that to be true, both of PlayStation Plus and of Game Pass, and likely any other competing services that pop up. And they realized they needed to put more into track creation, controls, just everything. He talked about bringing on different artists and physics, working with their physics engine and the complexities of that physics engine. For example, they wanted to do skiing at one point, but that is an entirely different element, despite a lot of the similarities that you would see. And so it was just interesting to hear him talk about it. And that's a lot of what I do on XEP. For anyone that's unfamiliar, I let the developers try to tell their story. And the little nuggets like that come out all the time. And it's interesting to see what people jump on and what they don't.
Yeah, I do the same. I don't like to ask them about like their current projects. That puts pressure on them. I kind of ask them more of their history and what led them to where we are here, type of thing. I feel like you lose that that actual connection when you just start pestering them for questions that are related to now. That makes sense.
Yeah, and there's often a like prior to going on the mic with them, I'll let them know in a little bit like what I'm going to ask them, right? Like to have on Shredders and the Avengers developers, right? Some of those games were not well received in some places. Other people loved them. Well, prepping them ahead of time for what I plan to ask to a point is important, and most of the time they're very receptive. And sometimes I will tell them that I'm going to build, to ask about the future plans. For example, with Shredders, there are no plans for a sequel for that game. They're going to be working on Shredders proper for some time now, which is surprising to me, right? Like I thought they would have built towards a sequel based on being an indie studio, but no, thanks to incoming funding from things like Game Pass and such, they're going to build out more of Shredders, and it will look very different by year's end. And when you have games on the market similar to No Man's Sky, that have truly progressed in terms of how they look, you have to wonder, what can an indie studio do when they don't have to worry about funding, when they don't have to worry about lights being turned off, and they can just create in an area they love. These are guys that delayed their interview with me so they could go snowboarding. That's cool, right? Like that's fun. That's a fun story. It wasn't a disrespectful delay. It was like, hey, we would love to reschedule because we want to go snowboard. Dude, rock on. These guys are making a snowboarding game. Enjoy that, right? Yeah. Like that's cool.
You've got to love the fact that they are all snowboarders as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And aware of where their game landed in terms of snowboarding fans and game players, and where it didn't. And that was equally interesting to listen to. Like they know their game. They know what's good and bad. There's no false sense of bravado, at least in my experience with most developers. So I enjoy that.
It feels like Shredders as well was kind of cherry picked by Phil Spencer, because he's never away from the slopes.
If it was, I need him to listen to it. I hope he does.
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, make my day if it did. Oh, that'd be cool. So.
But I know that General C did his pass or play on it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he wasn't a massive fan of it. But then I've seen Snowboard Mike from the Xcast, and he's aware of the problems that he says that some people might not be able to quite get the feel for. But because he's a snowboarder, he can see past that and can actually do a lot more in the game and actually really enjoyed the game. So they've definitely got the right. They've worked it towards the snowboarding community quite well. Now they've just got to try and work on catching the more casual community as well. I had to go with it. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but I'm not very good at those games. But I preferred it more than sort of the arcadey, sort of SSX, was it? Some of the earliest
SSX and Amped.
Yeah, I was never really a fan of them. They were all about sort of getting the chains and getting all of the skill points in this. This seems a bit more just like real snowboarding. So I did quite like it. And as a kid, I used to be a surfer, so
cool.
It's a similar, similar style
back in the days. Huh?
Back in the days, mate. I got some photos of me surfing that
Before I built
you'd be
greenhouses.
jealous of.
So.
Yeah. And spice racks.
Now I build greenhouses and play games. It's
It's been 84 years.
it's hardcore now.
I went into the game and was expecting something different. Honestly, I was like, yeah, that's kind of like Tony Hawk on snow. You know, like the 1080 games back in the day, something like that. But it wasn't it. So it took me 2 hours or so to get used to the idea that this is not that arcade snowboard simulation. It's trying to be something else. But then it was an enjoyable game, but no doubt.
I'm curious to see where it goes, right? Because they actually talked about their timeline and how, based on deals for products in the game, like official snowboarding gear and boards and clothing, they had to get it out by a certain time, lest those have to be completely remodeled and retailored for the next year. So they were on an artificial timeline that they themselves created based on those business deals. And I get the impression after playing it and hearing them talk that while they love their craft, they also know where the criticism is and they want to improve it. And so that is two parts, right? As gamers, oftentimes we are put in positions where we need to beta test things despite them being released as products that you purchase. And in other cases, you have a developer who's very upfront with why and how things are working, and all the various like pay scale models that exist throughout our industry. Some of them really lend themselves to supporting that that idea, and others are like, yo, I just paid $60-70 for your game and it's broken. And everywhere in between does that exist. But I feel like in the example of Shredders and in several of the other developers I've had on, they all seem to be very aware of where their shortcomings and their strengths, and I like that about games, about developers.
So who if you could have anybody, I think Mick asked that as well, if you could have anybody, who would you have on? Who would you love to have on? Dream interview.
Dream interview would be Sarah Bond. I would adore the chance to pick her brain, not just about the games industry, but about being a woman of color in the games industry. Being that I work with a lot of middle school age people, I have a book in my room called 100 Women Developers or whatnot. And a lot of my young girls, specifically my young girls of color, do not really feel like the games industry is inviting to them, despite being gamers themselves, which is also cool to see. And so she's kind of become an icon for how to do it right and to rise into the ranks, and to be at a company like Microsoft that is working so hard to be so diverse. I would enjoy picking her brain about the pressures of being a role model, you know, what it's like to have that pressure be put on you and still do your job and still be productive, and to walk out on that stage knowing you're going to get critiqued for any number of things, professional and unprofessional. I would really relish the chance to hear her speak on that, because I think it would be very inspiring for a lot of people. And then, you know, like any Xbox content creator, the chance to talk to people like Phil Spencer or Aaron Greenberg or whatnot would be really, I think, fascinating. Joseph Staten's another one that I would love to just hear them talk, because they have stories, to BitCloud's point, from years and years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
There you go. You're back. You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Whatever I said, it was brilliant and prophetic. Wherever I cut out.
What?
Yeah.
Do you want to pick up where you left off there?
Where did I leave off to you guys?
Just one sentence ago.
Yeah, it was only a sentence.
Just the idea. I would love to talk to many of the people within Xbox about their history, and really anyone in the gaming industry, but because I cover Xbox, because to BitCloud's point, the stories of the older stories can be so telling and fascinating, and so that's why I like to ask questions and just hear them talk. And this will sound a little silly and a bit like I'm trying to sound cool, so forgive me, but I've had a lot of interviews that haven't gone public and that don't go public. They won't go public. Because they didn't suit the show or whatnot, but to hear some of the legends from the gaming industry talk is really cool, and it opens doors to other things that do, and that's my fun part. So.
I would love to see you interview Sarah Bond. Yeah, she seemed to come out of nowhere for us, a few years back, didn't she? And she's definitely
like that.
shook. Yeah, she's shook the gaming world. So yeah, that would be a great interview. I hope you get that one, mate.
That's a long-term goal for me, and right now it's just a matter of
maybe she's watching now.
Maybe Phil's watching and he'll pass the message on.
Oh man, it would be a joy to have the attention and to have them know kind of where I am in the kind of content I like to make, because I don't know that they do, and I don't know that they don't, and I don't make it for them, but it's kind of cool if you're covering a beat to be watched by them. I've had that same thing in sports. If I covered a team, it was cool if that team made themselves available to me.
Yeah.
So can I just ask, so you say that some of your interviews have never gone out.
Yeah.
How do those people that you've done interviews with, did they ever ask why, or did you come to an agreement not to put them out, or is there a reason, or is it just
some of them were?
It's a mixed bag. I'll say it like that.
It is a mixed bag, and sometimes it's like, hey, maybe what we thought we were going to talk about, we ended up not covering, and it didn't suit the show. Other times it was like, maybe this just doesn't match what I'm trying to do with what they're trying to do, and it's very rarely hard feelings. I've never had one that went south and I didn't air it, right? I did in the Lauren Lanning interview have moments where I was like, I don't jive with what Lauren is saying on this, but that's not my job as a enthusiast beat cover to censor him. And so I published an extended interview with that was uncut, right? And there was nothing gratuitous or not in it, but it was like, I don't think my regular listeners on the podcast feed who listen with their kids would want to hear his thoughts on mental health or therapy. But I put that in the extended because I didn't want that cut out overall. But then other stuff, kind of the one that I'm thinking of most in my mind was a written one, which I do. Sometimes I publish those over on Season Gaming. Trek to Yomi and I think it's Godfall, the Godfall director. That one's coming up on Season Gaming. But Trek to Yomi's already there. Sometimes I do written ones and it's just exchanges, and there's no reason for that to be printed or whatnot, or it didn't again suit the narrative or suit where I was going with it.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Fair enough.
That's fair enough.
What else can I tell you about? This is fun.
Let me tell. I told you something before the show, but I want to say it also in the air. I listen to your show regularly, and the great thing about the Xbox Expansion Pass is that it fits perfectly in your day. It's not this 2, 3, 4 hour show. It is in a very convenient format. So for everyone who does listen here and doesn't know Luke's show, I highly recommend to check it out. It's on every podcast service available, and it is in a very convenient format that you can squeeze in during the day, and I really love that. It's fantastic pacing you have on your show.
Thank you, man. That means a great deal, and I appreciate it. And I love those extended shows for me when I'm gaming, but try to make it a little more digestible for my listeners, because it's a solo show, right? Not everyone wants to hear Luke Lore talk for 4 hours, so it's like, all right, we'll tame it down a little bit. So
yeah, I have about an hour and a half journey to work and an hour and a half journey back, so I can fit in 2 decent podcasts each way. So I go through a lot of podcasts. I work 6 days a week as well. So
but you work in a garden.
A lot of podcasts. No. I drive from where I live to Wales and back, which is about cool. 90 odd miles.
Say work in the garden. Come on, man.
So yeah, so I get a lot of podcasts in during the week. So
I was going to say
yours is definitely in there.
I'll take the blame for the long podcasts. And Nick this weekend. Nick was partly to blame. So obviously, Special Nick was on the Sunday show, and that went from being what is usually an hour to an hour and a half podcast to being a 4-hour podcast. And it was only 3 of us there, so so I partly to blame for that one. Boxy, sorry.
My night shift was shorter, so
yeah.
But yeah, we will dig into one of the topics today, and one of the topics that I'm sure Mr. Vin will be very happy to talk about.
Oh yes.
The news,
Oh
of
God,
course.
please don't mention it.
I know it's gonna have to. We're gonna have to just do it.
Oh, Mick, it's not skill bound. It's Sega. It's
Ah,
Sega.
there we go. Okay, we're okay. We're
We're
saved.
okay with Sega.
No,
Sega
not,
today.
it's not skill bound. It's not skill bound. Don't worry.
Yes, so we had the news, of course, that Sega are, or at least the heavy speculation that Sega are doing a Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio reboot, which is absolutely awesome. It is part of their mega kind of
Comeback
gaming plans, should we say? Some of the plans that they have in place, which is it was good to hear that they're rebooting these very old franchises. Of course, with Jet Set Radio, we know we have what would be a spiritual successor in the works right now, which is an indie game called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which looks absolutely awesome. It is very much in the same vein. But to hear the original is going to be making a comeback as a full reboot, and of course Crazy Taxi. It begs the question, obviously, what else do you think they might bring in the works that are from their back catalogue and looking to bring into this huge metaverse? Of course, are you excited for both of these games, both of them coming out? First of all, I want to go
you can't time me out on this topic. No timeouts now.
I'm gonna go to Vin first, because of course he is a Sega mega fan. So Vin, what's your thoughts overall on the news? Of course, that they're going back to both Crazy Taxi
beware.
and some of their older titles and rebooting them.
Oh, I'm happy. That's probably obvious for me.
Yeah.
You know, I love Jet Set Radio. I love Crazy Taxi. I hope they can also bring the Offspring, you know, the band back on board for the reboot. Because on the 360, when you had this, is that a port called? A port?
Yeah.
From the Dreamcast version, they removed the Offspring music for the music rights, you know,
Yeah.
how you say that? Oh, how you call that?
Yes.
But it went downhill for the music, so I hope the Offspring is also coming back. Are they still alive? Yes, they are, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are.
Still making
So
music.
I hope, yeah, I hope they're coming back, and I'm happy with that. And you know, it's great to see Jet Set Radio, because that obviously makes a sign from Sega that it's not just, you know, Sonic and stuff like that that's coming back, but also, you know, the games that were less picked up by players, you know, because the death of the stuff like the Dreamcast, you know. So, and if this is just a start, you know, from the comeback of Sega, then we might be in for a treat, you know, because obviously I'm waiting for 22 years now for Skies of Arcadia remaster, remake, reboot, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I hope Skies of Arcadia, I hope Shining Force can make a comeback, and they have so many games, you know, they can still bring back, you know. So
Yeah.
if you want a good rally game, you know, you have Sega Rally, you have Sega Sock Slam for a sport game, you know, for fun. They have everything in their catalog. So
It's like you mentioned before as well, Vin. Actually, it's these games, of course, weren't massive commercial successes at the time, but they were very much what you probably call a cult classic.
Yeah, cult classic,
Taxi, and Jet Set Radio. So, and there's been a lot of them kind of over the years as well that we would put into that kind of bracket. You talk about The Order, you talk about Rise, you talk about Sunset Overdrive. You're talking about, like you say, those type of games. In years to come, they would be games that people look at and say, yeah, it wasn't commercially massively successful, but the game itself was brilliant and we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We'd love for it to come back. And Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi, I think, fell into that. The fun games, arcade games, should we say, that you can pick up and play and just enjoy. And they still got their communities. And it's absolutely awesome to see that they're doing that. Part of me thinks, was this part of, we know they've got kind of this working strategic relationship with Xbox, and we know Xbox are very much keen on, as they've mentioned with Activision's portfolio and Bethesda's, etc., digging up some of the gems and pushing forward with bringing them back to life, and kind of unearthing some of these ones that have just been left in the dust. was that a part of the conversation with Sega as well? Did they go, okay, well, what's the strategic relationship? What's your plans? Is it just for current games? Or are you looking at your older titles? I mean, and if this is just part of it, and these companies are going to say, right, okay, well, some of these ones that we've just forgotten about and left in the past, and we're actually going to revive and give them a brand new lease of life, and let newer generations enjoy them again for a change.
Yeah,
because it's
about
been
time.
a long time. I mean, it's like you say, it's like
Yeah.
Dreamcast was Crazy Taxi originally.
Yeah. Virtua Tennis.
Yeah. Jet Set Radio was like you say, such a fun game, and I'm glad, of course, we've got one coming up sooner in Bomb Rush Cyberpunk that's going to give you that feeling for the time being until this project does come out. But we know Vin for a fact that your most anticipated one, of course. You'll still be waiting for that announcement, but are you more confident then that is a higher possibility that that's going to get created?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, because Jet Set Radio is announced, I think that Skies of Arcadia has a great chance of a comeback now. It's probably gonna be on the Nintendo Switch. That's the only downside, I think, because the upgraded version of the Dreamcast version was on the Nintendo GameCube. Skies of Arcadia Legends.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but because there's never nowhere an answer to be found. But if Nintendo has some marketing rights to it or whatever, it's because of that GameCube version. I don't know, but if Jet Set Radio is coming back, then there is a chance that Skies of Arcadia is coming back as well.
Yeah, and Mr. John agrees with you as well. He says bring back Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah.
Of course, Yuki Lazarus naturally.
Bring that dead to rights.
Yeah. Yuki Lazarus naturally says Sega Valley, please. Paul, Jet Set Radio, please. Of course, fingers crossed. This, like I say, it's heavy speculation, but it's obviously it seems like it's coming from a good cause, and it makes sense as well. Two of these big franchises are reboots, and it's part of this metaverse that they're creating, this ongoing thing. So, Big Cloud, I want to kind of bring you into it as well. What's your thoughts on the Sega news this week that both Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, and potentially more are coming back as reboots?
Yeah, I'm excited. Jet Set Radio was the first Xbox game I actually bought when I got my OG Xbox. So,
Jet Set Radio Future.
Dude, it was fire. The soundtrack, everything. I love that game.
Yeah.
And if they are remaking it, I do hope they keep it like one for one, like everything soundtrack. And I was just add the textures, whatnot, and bring it more up to light. After the announcement of Max Payne now coming back as well. Yeah. This is actually like the best time, honestly, because who's to say we won't get Bloody Roar? Who's to say we won't get any more gems like that coming back? And that's the cool thing about it too. I'm excited though. I am looking forward to seeing it and seeing how it goes and how it's actually received. That's the other thing too. I know a lot of people, when we see these gems come back, they don't do crazy well. Like I remember Crash Bandicoot, it did do pretty good, but I don't think it did like insanely well. The Insane trilogy, and but again, it's cool though. We'll get them.
Well, some games are good, right? I mean, the Panzer the Groom remake, made by Forever Entertainment, did well on all platforms. So there is a market for it. So
Yeah, and we do need a market where games are not like we need that market where, or not market, but we need that category, I guess you can say, right? More of that category where games are not so realistic. Not every game needs to be like what I mean, like night and day. Like
agree.
We need that fun factor type of games back, like platformers
silly arcade games that we used to have.
Yeah, but that's where Sega Masters are in,
No. That's why I want, games like Sly Cooper. I want that to come back. I want more, games and gems to drop. So the possibility is definitely endless at this point. So that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Golden Axe,
yeah. We was going to say
not that crappy Beast Rider rubbish.
No.
No.
Proper Golden Axe.
Mick, as you did go in there, what's your thoughts on the awesome Sega announcement? And they are rebooting some of these older franchises. Like as I mentioned with Jet Set Radio specifically, it is funny that obviously we have this team creating Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is the spiritual successor, and it looks absolutely awesome, to be fair. That we then get the news that there is a reboot of Jet Set Radio coming along the pipeline, along with Crazy Taxi and Co. What's your thoughts on it? Yeah, are you happy? Are you excited?
Yeah. I mean, I was always more of a Nintendo kid growing up, and the only real Nintendo, the only Sega I had, I did have a Game Gear, which used like 8 AA's and lasted for like 35 minutes before they were dead. So I think my parents regretted buying that quite quickly. Rechargeables weren't a big thing back then. So yeah, but I got later on in life got into Sega with the Saturn and went back to the Mega Drive, and then I had a Dreamcast as well. And yeah, the Saturn for me was one of the greatest systems ever made. It had some fantastic games. So there's quite a few games that were out on those games, on those systems, that I'd love to see come back. Jet Set Radio was never something I really played.
Yeah.
But Crazy Taxi was, though.
Yeah.
In the day.
Crazy Taxi.
Yeah. So and then there was the blatant Simpsons ripoff as well with Road Rage.
Yes.
Road Rage,
Which the story behind Road Rage was even better than the game, because the fact that Sega let them release it, let them rack up a few million, and then went, now we're taking you to court. I just thought that's genius. Fair play to Sega on that one. So, but yeah, there's quite a few of those old games that I'd love to see. I'd love to see a lot of them come back.
Awesome stuff. Luke, what about yourself, sir? What's your excitement levels hearing the news that they're rebooting some of these classics?
Mixed, I think. We've seen mobile reboots of Crazy Taxi and some of these others that don't always get the love they deserve. I love the idea of bringing older games back. I think that's a really important thing to do as far as game preservation in terms of straight ports. But we're talking more like remakes or spiritual successors. But I think when you have the chance to capitalize on nostalgia and it's done in the right ways, you can be presented with a lot of really cool elements. This super game that Sega is talking about and the Crazy Taxi formula could really pair hand in hand quite well if they can get their monetization model fair and respectful to those who are playing it. Then I think they've got a chance to really have a fun world to drive around in, have that arcadey silliness in. It's so my interest level is not one where I'm like dying to play it. There are far more games that are coming back and are coming out through the next year or so that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah,
but it's one that has my interest out of the sheer element of like, all right, you're saying Crazy Taxi. Dreamcast was one of my jams. I loved the Dreamcast.
Yes.
Great, terrible system. And the Saturn is one that I think was a great, terrible system too. Like, it was weird. Both the systems were weird. And the wire on the Dreamcast controller was in the wrong spot. So odd.
Yeah, but on the downside, yeah.
Yeah, it was so weird. I mean, it had the VMU, that's why, but like, it's just weird. But I loved my experiences with them, and if they can find ways to capitalize on the fun we used to have, as our generation gets older, I look like I'm 12, but I'm much older than that. Then 13. Absolutely, I'm there for it. 13, yeah,
13.
Yeah, 36.
You can also grow a beard like the two guys on the top of the screen here.
Just remove this and I'd drop it like 30 years.
Yeah. My wife, she literally has been finding gray hairs all over my head, which doesn't translate to the camera very well, but it's happening, and it's just like, ooh, because I'm 4 years.
Feeling.
Yeah, 4 years away from 40 at this point. So, yeah, I have fond memories of those classic games for sure.
Awesome stuff.
I started going grey when I was 21, so I put that down to my first marriage, which also was when I was 21. So
yeah, just embrace the grey. Just go.
Yeah, I did. I just gave up.
Fair.
Sean, what about yourself, brother? What's your thoughts on the old Sega IPs making a comeback in a reboot fashion?
I'm interested to see how well they do because I think gaming's moved on quite a bit, and I'm someone who I loved Crazy Taxi in its day. But I don't know how well that will translate to modern gaming. Will it be carried purely by nostalgia, or will it find a new audience? I'd rather than bring back Shining Force, to be fair. But I mean, I'm open for games being remade that are that old. I'm not quite a big fan of newer games finding remasters and stuff. But the classics, as long as they fix whatever issues they had when they came out, not that I can think of it at the top of my head. But as long as they're not just Control C, Control V, done.
Yeah, there were simple controls at the time. To be fair, you are right.
yeah. But I'd want to see a bit of effort.
So what you're saying is GTA games.
That was more of a Control C, Control QWERTY, Control V, because I don't know what happened in the middle of that. Something went a bit wrong with that. Yeah, but I mean, I actually never played Jet Set Radio.
Ooh.
That was one of the few ones where I know. So I've only ever.
Mike cut his mic, cut him out the chat.
No, but you can play it, Mick. You can play it on the 360 though.
Oh, can you? I might break out. I've still got the 360 plugged in.
It's an Xbox original game which isn't backward compatible, but you can play it on the 360. So you can play it on 1080p, but not on 4K.
I might have a little
So
look at
I've heard all good things about it. So that's probably something I will pick up.
It's a gem. It's like a pure gem.
I might pick up Crazy Taxi, but it's a fun game, but I don't know how. I might just kind of go a little bit boring now. Yeah.
Barely make rent. This is the best controller ever. Change my mind. Yeah, it is.
For Jet Set Radio? I don't know about Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, look, it has a memory card, you know.
Yeah, because you're really selling that. You know, now we've got the cloud.
Then the OG Xbox
selling
have a memory card?
Memory card that need batteries that used to go wrong.
Mick, this is 1999. Remember that?
The OG Xbox dude.
We had a memory card.
I was 19 years old, and even then I thought, nah, I'm not buying more of these.
How old were you?
19 then.
No. I don't believe you. You were already building greenhouses.
Memory packs. Didn't they have like their own little?
Yeah. Just like
that you could.
If you have Sonic Adventure. Yeah, but also if you have Sonic Adventure, you had this Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure, and then if you could download your Chow to your memory card, and then like a Tamagotchi. I don't know if you had it in the UK as well.
Yeah.
The little animals on the things on your keychain.
Yeah,
like that. And you could feed it and grow it and stuff like that.
I had a
that little mini game that was built into the game.
Yeah,
Bit Cloud. You might know this one. That PlayStation used to do.
They look like Drop Circuit.
Yeah, it's a little pocket. There's like a little.
Yeah,
it looked like a little.
It was also a memory card, and then certain games when you plugged it in, like Street Fighter.
Interact. It would
you used to download a little game onto it, and you used to have a little game of Street Fighter on this little cartridge thing. It was fantastic. It was only out in, I think, Japan.
I also
managed to get one imported.
Yeah, also the shooters like Outrigger, you know, and an Outrigger, if you were playing split screen, you couldn't see the health or the ammo on the TV screen, but just in the memory card. So you couldn't cheat on guys playing next to you, only if they watch your VMU. It had brilliant features, really. Yeah. For 1999, it was brilliant.
Yeah. It's what killed them, sadly.
I was going to say I've got to agree with Tom as well. With regards to the games when they do come out, it's going to be interesting to see how they translate into modern gaming. Jet Set Radio, I can see perfectly fine translating. I don't see a reason why that can't translate into modern. Of course, we're seeing Bomb Rush, Cyberpunk, and that works.
Yeah, it'll be more responsive, 60. Everything. I can see the world bigger, more expanded, especially with remember like in the original, it was kind of like compact with like the little like things I forgot what it was, the little lighting fixtures or whatever you would grind on and whatnot.
Yeah,
it had like those type corners. I can see those being more like narrow and longer type of quarters. Yes. Plus, they can add more to it and whatnot, make it look even better. The game was just like that game. Honestly, I'm happy that it's getting another chance again because I felt like it was very creative.
Yeah.
At a point, and you don't really see that many games take that type of risk or style or approach to
Bit, are you
games.
speaking about Jet Set? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Were you talking about Jet Set or Crazy Taxi?
Jet Set.
Jet Set Radio?
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Apologize for interrupting.
Those
I just thought I'd have a quick look on Amazon to see how much it was just for the disc. Cheapest one is 75 quid. Like, I'm all right. I don't need to try it at that price. Sorry.
well, you guys better go buy one. Oh man, good luck with that.
And a bit Cloud. Did you see that documentary on YouTube? When you have this documentary called Dreamcast.
I don't think so. No, I didn't see
You
that one.
have to look that up, man. Then you see that when Sega was doing the Dreamcast, they put in everything they had, you know, and everybody in the whole company got, you know, unlimited time and stuff they wanted to create whatever they want, and that's how Jet Set Radio was born.
So I'm saying, like, you can tell that there was a lot of like they weren't really trying to be like over the top, right? They were just being more creative in terms of just having fun with it, type of thing. Like that's what it was. Like especially with the character models, how creative they were.
Yeah.
So, like
Sounds
Beat,
a lot
for
like
example.
Xbox now.
Beat was dope.
Yeah, man, Beat was dope.
And
So, yeah.
and like I say,
That
but I also
approach
agree.
sounds a bit like Xbox.
I was going to say, but I also agree with Sean's
But
point.
isn't the OG Xbox is about the Dreamcast 2, right?
Oh yeah,
Let's not forget the OG Xbox launched with Sega GT, Otogi, what was the Panzer Dragoon Orta, Jet Set Radio Future, Crazy Taxi 3, Headhunter. They were all on the OG Xbox. I mean, the main supplier of games the first days was Sega.
Yeah.
So,
The problem was though they couldn't get like they couldn't get Rockstar. I don't remember until like later. Remember, like I think San Andreas dropped on it later on, but they couldn't get like
it was
Vice
Infinite
City,
them down, didn't they?
yeah, they couldn't get Vice City or GTA 3 or whatnot. And it was like, okay, well, damn, and everybody was like, you know, like it had a lot of benefits on the OG. Like you didn't have to have the memory cards at all. You just literally had a hard drive. Everything was there, you know. But yeah, that was the unfortunate side of the OG Xbox. It was a good time though. It was a good console for what it was.
Yeah,
I remember playing House of the Dead with the light guns.
yeah.
that's a game. Is that possible to bring back now? I mean,
Light
you,
guns.
for a light gun, you need a
not with the light
CRT
guns.
TV, right?
Unless they do something with like VR, maybe with that. They can do VR with like little light gun. They can do that, or they can do yeah, it'd be weird. I don't think
There
they
must
can
be
do
something they
it
can do because you can still use a Wii controller on a you know flat
But
screen telly, can't you?
it's
So you
pretty. Mick, I've got the solution, right? It's pretty easy. Make Kinect 3.0 and use your smartphone. Ta-da! We need Kinect.
Yeah, no, that was just a different
I'd be
era,
happy
though.
for a Connect 3, to be honest.
Mad
I like
Cat's
that.
no longer with us too. That's the sad part because Mad Cat's was like the OG. That was like the main one we went to for all these.
Mad Cats. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they're no longer with us, and that's the sad part. So
Are they gone? Mad
Just
Cats?
to get those guns with the
What's gone.
recoil and everything.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
And
they
all
were
that.
brilliant.
Are they bankrupt? Mad Cats.
Yeah,
I know they're gone.
didn't they
I
get
don't know if
bought up by
Yeah.
somebody?
they're
Didn't-
done.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember
That's
who it
a
was.
shame.
Somebody bought them up, but I've not seen anything from them since.
Yeah, you're done. They're like
Yeah.
in storage. Let's put it like that. They bought and put up in storage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also like to say I also agree with Sean's point on I think Crazy Taxi more than anything. I don't know how that translates into modern gaming. Be a cool arcade game, but I think Jet Set Radio would probably be more of a commercial success. I think something like Crazy Taxi, you'd be looking more at maybe even the indie scene type of thing for that. With it being an arcade-ish game, I don't see that really translating into a big AAA budget game, if that makes sense. I can see that for Jet Set. I can't see it for Crazy Taxi. I don't know how
I just hope they market it right, you know? Like they do like a custom console or something creative with it.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. Yeah. Like imagine Beat on the cover. You know what I mean? Doc? And the console would be like green or something, like they don't have graffiti on the side. That'd be fire. I think that would be perfect for
Oh
the
hell
game.
yeah. Hell
So-
yeah.
Luxemburger, what's your thoughts on this Sega news?
I have nothing more to add. everything has been said on this topic. I want to talk about Star Wars.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
Nice transition.
no, we stay at this topic. We have
Definitely
2 more
gotta
hours on
move
this
on.
topic.
Wrap it up, Dutch. Wrap it
no,
up.
I love the game. Though. I'm glad Vin likes the game as much as I do because it really was that big of a
Yeah.
game to me. Like I loved it that much. The soundtrack, it was just so creative. Everything
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And you know, now that it's coming back, I hope that we see more gems come back. Just to end the topic, and I hope that we see more creativity get inspired by seeing it back in homes.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love you,
gonna-
GitCloud. I love
There
you,
go.
man. I love you. I
I'd
love
say
you.
like that. I'd say like that. Because you know when it comes out, you know what I'm doing, man. It's can't wait.
Yeah.
Sega.
Awesome stuff. So yeah, Boxenberger.
Hey Vin, IO10. Remember that song?
Yes, we do have some more cool news as well to see. The a new Star Wars game in production as well from Skydance New Media, which is Amy Hennig's team, of course, formerly Uncharted. Very interesting, of course. It is going to be a new narrative story game in the Star Wars universe. So another, which is good news for me because I want more single-player experiences in the Star Wars universe as opposed to the likes of Battlefront, etc. And even Rogue Squadron, as great as that was as a fighter pilot-y game type of things. Fallen Jedi or whatever it was called. I keep forgetting the name.
Oh, Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen
Order.
Order. I keep forgetting the name.
Fallen
of it.
Order.
You wouldn't think I finished it. Jedi Fallen Order. With that release and playing through that, it really gave me more of a need to see single-player Star Wars games, story games in the Star Wars universe, and to hear that one of the original kind of should we say lead creators from an awesome franchise in Uncharted, and obviously now with their own studio in Skydance New Media is creating and has agreed obviously the rights to make a new Star Wars game. It is good news. It's great news, to be honest, I think for Star Wars fans as well as everybody else. To see the franchise eventually getting some love again in the gaming space in the right way, not being bloated with EA's microtransactions and expansion passes and things like that, like Battlefront ended up doing, and obviously they learned their lesson. But Boxenberger, I want to hear your opinion on it first. What's your thoughts seeing that news first and foremost? And of course, what would you like to see from this new Star Wars game? What would be your ideal thing to come out of Skydance New Media?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited. That's why I'm gonna make it a headline topic for tomorrow's World of Gaming podcast. There are so many thoughts going through my head when I read that. The first thing is Amy Hennings was at EA. She had that third-person action adventure set Project Ragtag, or what it was called.
I think I canceled.
Yeah, and EA canceled it. And now she's basically taking that over to her own studio, Skydance Media, and the way how Lucasfilm talked about it, they are really excited. It's an original story, and it's a first single-player game, a narrative-driven action adventure. I can't wait to see what she's actually doing with it. It's been a while since we have played a game from Amy Hennings, so I can't wait to see where that will end up. The other thing is, in general, I'm super excited that finally that 10-year license deal with EA is finally over. Because if you look at
Praise the Lord.
Look at the 360 PS3 generation. How many awesome Star Wars games did we get during that time? And even in the PS2 and OG Xbox days, we had
Bounty Hunter. Oof.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter. We had so many games, like 2 Star Wars games each year or so. That was the norm. Not all of them were good, obviously, but you know what I mean. And then we had the EA, and the EA released 2 Battlefronts and Jedi Fallen Order and Rogue Squadrons, and that's it. They really haven't been doing the franchise justice. And if we look now at what is happening over on Disney Plus with Star Wars. I always say Mandalorian is Star Wars right now. That show is not just fantastic, but the fans are really digging it, hyping it up. And what have we not seen so far? We haven't seen a Mandalorian game. I mean,
yes.
Disney has teased something about a year ago that
Like
there is something in the works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't really very specific on this. But nevertheless, yeah, it offers so much potential. We have now Quantic Dream, which I can't wait to see where they will take Star Wars Eclipse with it. I'm excited for what is Ubisoft going to do with an open world Star Wars game. We haven't had a proper open world Star Wars game in a long time. We know Jedi Fallen Order 2 is coming now.
Yep.
And now we have this Amy Hennig's game. Man, I'm super stoked. There's so much awesome Star Wars content coming.
That Night of the Old Republic
Remake on
remake.
PlayStation
Is that
KOTOR
Oh, yeah,
remake.
yeah,
Thank
KOTOR,
you.
yeah,
How could I
KOTOR.
forget that in the list? Yeah, exactly. So, from so many different smaller, bigger, medium-sized studios, everything is in there, and I can't wait to see where Star Wars is going. And like I said in the beginning of my monologue, we haven't played Amy Hennig's game in a while, so I want to see what she can do with in her own studio, and yeah, it's
And
exciting
I mean, it's just
time
like
for Star Wars
I was going to
fans.
say from her and her experience and her development, etc., with the Uncharted franchise specifically, there's a lot of talent there, story-driven talent. So to bring that across into her new titles, she's got 2 under development. It's this Star Wars project and another project. So to see that in a new Star Wars title will be interesting. Very much kind of get me excited for it as well.
Yeah.
Of course, it was awesome news to hear that rightfully Fallen Order was going to get a second. It deserved it. It was a brilliant game. It did justify it as well.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking forward to see how they expand upon that. There was a few, of course, everyone that played it said it's not perfect. There is things that we'd like to see changed. I think most of us said we'd like to see a little bit more creativity with the maps that you go to, because a few times you go back to the same place several times, and so on and so forth. But I think as a first for them and creating such a universe, it gives you the feeling of being a Jedi, the Force powers, the lightsaber combat. The story was really good from start to finish. It had some nice surprises throughout it. It brought some awesome villains into it.
I agree. I kind of hope that you go to like the ruins of the Jedi Temple type of thing, because I remember the Jedi Temple now at this time is pretty much Vader's office in Citadel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. He sits in Master Windu's chair and he always reflects.
Yeah.
On that. So that'd be a cool little thing they did. To talk about the news, I'm excited as hell for it because again, I'm a big Star Wars fan as well. Like I'm talking, I almost went and spent $6,000 on this damn Star Cruiser this trip. I actually almost went. I was like, nah, we ain't gonna do this. It's too much, it's a little too much. But it's seeing this be announced right around the time that we got Kenobi as well, getting ready to drop as well. And on top of that, we have Mandalorian, which has blown everybody's minds away. I mean, if you haven't gotten emotional in that last episode, I don't know what to tell you at this point for Mandalorian. So it's good. It's good, man. And you have so many different options. You have KOTOR remake, which everybody's excited for. You have Jedi Fallen Order 2, which is probably going to give you much more lore with Cal Kestis. Yes. You have her style of game from Amy Hennig, which probably is going to be similar to of Jedi Fallen Order, but have a more refined system in terms of like the platforming and whatnot, and have her own little spin, probably with a different character in mind. Because I don't think she said it's going to be like an existing character, right? So it's probably going to be somebody completely different. Maybe it's going to be around that same period of when everything went to hell with Order 18, with Order 66. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. And
the Lucasfilm guy, I can't remember his name, someone from Lucas said that it's an original story. So
So yeah, so they can do pretty much whatever they want at that point, especially when they got the go ahead. And who knows, it might become canon, even with surprisingly, even with the Inquisitors from Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, I'm talking about with how they did those and how they became canon.
Yeah.
It's a lot of potential to really push that license even further. Like after seeing Detroit, I can't wait to see what Quantic Dreams does with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they bring to the table there. And
it's going to look pretty.
God, there's
you know
just,
that.
yeah, it's going to look amazing. And Jesus Christ, there's just so much that they can do with this license. And I'm glad EA is finally got their hands off of this, you know, in terms of the grip off of it, because you didn't really see this much effort or creativity with the license. And you said earlier, Boxer, it got kind of formulaic, right? It was like Battlefront 1, 2, that's it. Then we got another game which was like what, VR?
Yeah.
And then okay, we got this actual passion project, which was Jedi Fallen Order, which brought a little more life into the franchise. So it's like now you have legit more than one passion project to look forward to. And the cool thing is, if you're a big Star Wars fan, right? Luckily for you, one of these games are going to hit the mark for you if you're lucky. If not all, if all of them hit you, then you won completely at this point. And that's the best thing about Star Wars. And I can't wait to see it, man. As far as like what I want to see, I mean, personally, I would love the ability to actually choose for a change my own path of how I want to go about this. Like, do I want to be a Jedi, or do I want to be a full-blown Sith, or do I want to be someone who's conflicted but in between? You see what I'm saying? Where I don't identify myself as a Sith or a Jedi, but as a god, you know, with the black lightsaber. That'd be awesome.
Like a Fable Star Wars edition.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that would be crazy because that can work. That can legit work with that license. You can just be creative.
I mean, the whole what we heard of 1313 was supposed to be sort of pick your own path. It was all 1313 was one of the levels on Coruscant, wasn't it? So it was quite the seedy, deep underground of the big city. And it was all about sort of picking your path and working your way through it, and that really excited me. And then obviously what happened. If she is pulling any of that across and any ideas or anything from that would be
and it's
amazing.
Because we haven't had this much excitement for Star Wars like low key since the Force Unleashed.
Oh yeah.
This is at least with EA. At least with EA having it for so long, at least we've had time to sit back and go, I really want this. And when you get too
we
much
are ready for this.
So now at least we've had that break. At least we can say, well, even though we didn't get much, at least we're all desperate for something to come back, and we're all ready for it. So there's at least there's that, but it's not a great thing, I know. But
I would
they didn't do it out of love, did they?
I would love to also be able to forge my lightsaber like you could in Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I love that because that was, you had your own creativity towards it. Like, okay, you know what, this is mine. This is your own little spin. I would love to see that, but I want them to do it more so where you can also create the legendary ones. Like you can make Anakin's, you can make Mace Windu's. That would be awesome. You can make those the iconic ones. You can make the black lightsaber and whatnot. But that, I mean, again, we'll get there when we get there. But maybe that'll be in Jedi Fallen Order 2. You never know. And that's
you never know. You never know.
So
has any of you guys seen that footage of that cancelled Boba Fett game?
That's 1313.
That's 13.
That was 1313. I couldn't remember the name. Okay.
Yeah, because it was George Lucas that was begging them to try and make it into a Boba Fett game, and they kind of did, but then it just didn't happen. So got the curse of George on it.
Why not just make a Jango Fett game? Just go from that, like the origins of Jango. I would take that over Boba Fett, honestly. Jango's a badass in that movie.
No, I'm a Boba Fett fan. But
you're Boba Fett? Nah, man. Come on, you can't front. Jango had the best armor look.
I do like his armor.
You know what I'm saying? He had the best armor compared to Boba.
but yeah.
There you go.
Luke, what's obviously you've got to bounce soon, so we'll. I want to get your opinion on this though before you do. What's your thoughts on again? I would say more great news for the Star Wars IP in gaming again. Having another awesome developer with her brand new studio, getting the chance to do another awesome single player game in the Star Wars universe. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm of the mind that all Star Wars is good Star Wars. Even the bad Star Wars is still good Star Wars.
You also like Jar Jar?
Oh, it's my favorite.
Yes, thank you.
absolutely.
Finally,
Yeah.
someone.
I absolutely love the idea that we have right now. There are 8 distinct known projects for Star Wars games, which is fantastic. Especially interested in seeing how the Ubisoft Massive Entertainment one comes out. My hope is that this continued news, and we've like grapevine heard rumors that there's at least 2 more for Star Wars Celebration. My hope is that we get a Rogue Squadron type game for sure, because I love those games. But I mean, how can you not be excited to see Amy Hennig returning to the Star Wars project? It was obviously a frustrating exit for a number of business reasons that seemingly were not her fault. But I'm excited to see that John Drake and the people there are pulling her back, which is exciting, because Skydance is trying to finance it. And so awesome. Let's get more. The more people from the more studios making Star Wars games in that space, the more creativity and competition I think will be bred between them. But in a healthy way. When EA had that 10-year deal, they did produce some fantastic games. Battlefront 2 ended up being fantastic by its end, and I really enjoyed it by its end. But of course, it launched terribly. Respawn put out Jedi Fallen Order that came out of nowhere seemingly and was fantastic. Squadrons, while not my cup of tea, didn't stick with me. That was a game born of love. And so I like seeing that stuff. But when you now bring in all these other creators and developers, each of their projects tends to fuel drive and interest for another. And they're competing with putting their best foot forward. And so I'm excited by that. Stoked for Amy Hennig's work, for sure, and I hope it continues to bring more Star Wars games, because that's such a rich universe to tell stories in, and there's so many ways to do it. So, absolutely, I'm enthralled by the possibilities, and it looks like May's going to be a blast for Star Wars fans, not just with Kenobi, but for a number of different events in different games and game announcements for sure.
And what would, if you had the opportunity to, if you could get anything in a Star Wars game that's going to come out of any of these projects, what would be your ideal Star Wars game?
Whew. Okay, so I have to say Rogue Squadron because I'm just so excited for that. My favorite thing in Star Wars are actually the Jedi. I love the good versus evil element. Every time I want to choose Sith, I end up going Jedi. I can't do it. Like my saber that I built at Disney World back there, I wanted it to be red. It had to be green.
Mine's
it
right
had to
here. Mine's right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, mine is behind my green light. Like I reached for the red one and I couldn't do it. I was like, no. It was a spiritual moment for me. But I want more Jedi games, and I want Rogue Squadron games. That's what I love the most. But in wanting a Jedi game, there's no reason that it can't be choose your own path. I would just end up choosing Jedi, and I think choosing your own path would be fantastic and the right way to do it. I'm also, because all Star Wars is good Star Wars, let's get Force Unleashed 3, or at least a spiritual successor to it. Let me go OP all the time.
Cool, yeah.
Give me Star Killer for sure.
Oh god, yeah, dude, right?
They've made it non-canon now, haven't they? Though, but
yes, it has. So like, let's just do it again.
But just think of things they could do with that with the power.
It's
of
not like they
released
can't do
it
it
on
because
the
he has
Switch.
clones. I'm gonna say
Like,
he's been
dude,
cloned multiple
Put that
times.
mess in Unreal Engine 5. Let's have a blast. Like, I'm the guy that read over 100 Star Wars novels pre-Disney. I read them all. Like, there are so many incredible moments that we have gotten or have gotten variations of, but haven't gotten. And games could explore some of those moments, even if the canon isn't. Like, I don't care what's canon. Like, I love Batman. How many Batman stories are canon aren't? I don't know. Whatever. I love the stories.
Yeah.
My Luke Skywalker looks different than sometimes Disney's, and sometimes it doesn't. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Let me just play in that world, whether it counts or doesn't. Like,
You have to look of a Luke Skywalker a bit.
yeah, well, I was named after him. So my parents were definitely hippies, which is great.
Hippies.
Great. Oh yeah. They saw Star Wars a lot, man.
Flow forward.
Yeah. So I'm excited. All Star Wars is good Star Wars. I want to have some fun with that universe, no matter where it is.
There's another new Star Wars program coming out as well, isn't there, on Disney Plus at some point? I cannot remember the name of it. It's got a funny name. Begins
The
with
Acolyte
U.
is probably what you're thinking of.
Yeah, they filmed that down the road from us.
Did they really?
Literally,
That's cool.
yeah, there was literally with this huge squadron of like big bands and all set stuff came up, and then there was stormtroopers walking up and down the beach and stuff. And they filmed it. They filmed a load of it on the front.
You've just
on
been
the
invaded and you didn't realize.
Yeah, they just turned up like.
Oh, I saw this like little Easter egg for Twitch streamers on Lego Star Wars, the new one. Where you have this what's the name of those robots? You know the white ones are called the droid stuff. And there's 3 of them in a hot tub with a camera.
Yeah, the little. So you're on about the stormtroopers, but with their helmets on, but with their swimming trunks.
Yeah,
and they're all. And you open the door, and they're inside, all having like a party, when they're all sat in a bath, a hot tub. Yeah,
I'm surprised we don't have a first-person like Imperial perspective of Star Wars yet, as well.
Yeah.
That's
Kind of got that in Battlefront.
I was going to say Battlefront 2 was
not like a proper one, you know.
Yeah,
you
mean like a Dark Force?
I mean,
Dark Forces kind of thing.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, yeah, it doesn't even have to touch on the whole, one's conflicted going towards, the Imperials. It can be more us seeing the true, like, I guess the true loss of what happens with these rebels, because we know where the rebels usually get smacked on the battlefield, like it's pretty bad. So
I was going to say, like, I would like to see kind of a whether it be Jedi, Sith, whatever it is, a story-based game, but with interplanetary, and you do jump into TIE Fighters or the Millennium Falcon or whatever it is, and you're going through it, and occasionally you do end up in some kind of space battle or anything in between worlds or some kind of space combat, but you also then have that third-person action adventure when you're jumping onto these places and going through it. It's a little bit more of an expansive world, but it's definitely possible with the likes of, as we've seen with the likes of No Man's Sky, etc. You can go between planets, etc., and do things whilst in space. And I think a hybrid between Rogue Squadron and Jedi Fallen Order, where you kind of got the best of both worlds.
I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. You can, like, before you land, you get like a battle, like a space battle. You take out as many rebels you can to clear the landing. Then you land and you go and take whatever you need to take as a Sith, or you have to protect whatever it is as a Jedi. Yeah, that would be cool to see for sure.
Definitely. Now, before we continue, we've got some awesome community questions coming up, but I'm going to let Luke jump out here, have his moment. Luke, if you want to pimp yourself, let people know where they can find you and what you've got coming up, brother.
Absolutely. Well, first, I appreciate getting to join you guys. It was a pleasure, a surprising pleasure, especially given the schedule. So thank you so much for having me. You can
Thanks
find
for
me
coming.
Are you kidding me? This is great. It's a blast, and I love y'all's community. It's always fun. So you can find me on Twitter at InsipidGhost, and you can find the Xbox Expansion Pass on all your podcast services and on YouTube as well. It's just the audio files on YouTube. Being a one-man show, I don't mess with the video. I'm not Boxenberger talented. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
No, you're on another level. That is for sure.
But as far as like what's coming up, I think if you look at I'll talk about my next episode that drops Sunday evening, Monday morning, depending on where you are. That will dive into how reviews are handled by some of the biggest websites in the world and how they approach the review process, how they handle accusations of people saying they're paid off, and kind of the elements of what it is to be reviewing a game in a professional setting as part of your career. And I'm looking forward to talking to my guest about that pretty extensively, just to pick his brain, because it's a complex process, particularly given that content creators are a factor that they weren't 15 years ago. Yeah. So I'm interested to see that for sure.
Oh, definitely. No, it's been absolutely awesome having you on, brother. Absolute pleasure diving into your background as well and how it come to be and the things obviously you've created. It is awesome to see positive creators in the community, and that's one thing myself, Big Cloud, and Boxenberger and the rest of us have spoke about a lot. There's a lot of I wouldn't even just say bad eggs, just a lot of people that do things for the wrong reasons, and it's great to see more awesome content.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
That's putting it completely lightly.
It is lightly, yeah. I'm being nice. It's awesome to see some really positive content creators that are bringing actual substance to the community. specifically in the type of content that you're creating with these awesome interviews and a little bit more in-depth knowledge on how things are created, what is the process behind them, the facts behind some of the things, and just, like I say, some better content to the community. It does take a lot of hard work. We know it from what we do. Just to try and arrange some of the stuff that you have to do will take a long time. So I appreciate everything you do, brother. Thank you very much for coming on today. And hopefully get you
Thanks
back
for
again in
coming,
the
man.
future.
It was a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for having me, and cheers to all of you. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
May the force be with you, Luke.
Force be with you guys. See ya.
You say may the force be with him? You mean the force?
But yes, I'm going to dig up the community comments now. So we do have a few community questions there that I'm going to dig into. Let's get back to them first. I do.
Dutch, before you go on, you might want to just look at Boxy's comment about 10 minutes ago.
About. Let's have a look.
How about
private chat?
Let us do one community question, and then I gotta bounce.
Okay.
Are you drunk, Boxy?
No, I'm not drunk. I have to get up for work very early tomorrow because I actually have to go to the
Oh, no.
office.
You said you had all night with us. So
Yeah, I didn't know that we are aiming now for a 3-hour show.
But here we go. One of the first questions here from the community, and this one comes from BMG. So he asks, and I'll direct this at Boxenberger first of all. The world is ending. What will be the last game you play and why?
Do we have to start with such a negative question? Come on.
Well, the world's done easily. Yeah.
When the world is ending, I'm going to play something with my kids. And not a video
FIFA.
game.
Yeah.
Something enjoyable, at least.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, no idea.
Would it be The Witcher for the 400th time? Or?
Probably.
Age of
game ever
Empires.
made, so
Age of Empires to rebuild it.
Oh man, here we go.
Could also. Yeah, I'm going with The Witcher.
The Witcher, yeah. Awesome stuff. Sean, yourself, if of course, I say world ending is really grim, but if the world was ending and all you could do was play a video game, what would be the last video game you would play?
Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Well, that's an unexpected answer.
No, it'd have to be one of the Splinter Cells.
Be what, sorry?
One of the Splinter
One of the
Cells is a
Splinters.
good
Probably
choice.
Chaos Theory. Probably
Chaos
Chaos Theory.
Be the last one you play. That's, yeah. To be fair, relatively expected. I know you'd love an actual new Splinter Cell as well coming up. We can only hope at some point in the future that dream is realised. Big
It's one
Cloud.
coming. Let's just hope it's good.
Oh yeah. Big
Let's hope
Cloud.
it sells, not.
Let's hope it's not full of NFTs.
Oh man.
Oh, you know it will be.
Oh.
What about yourself, Big Cloud? Last game you'd ever play?
We're just talking about stuff that's already out, or we're talking about stuff that's
Already out, yeah.
income.
Yeah.
Already out. Oh well. As a big Marvel guy, I'm probably gonna go out playing arguably the best Spider-Man game. I still consider to this day that Spider-Man 2018. It's the gem right there. Love that game very, very much. Sucks I'll die before I can play Spider-Man 2. If this was the case, but I will take Spider-Man this version of Spider-Man, of course, all DLC included as well, and play that one last time and enjoy it. And I'll go out on that and the possibility of the mind that we could have had a sequel. There you go.
Mick, what about yourself? I know we're getting one of them back soon, but it might not be out before you die. So, what game would you play?
It's probably going to be Monkey Islands in it. Absolutely, just because.
He bought a Monkey Island.
played it.
Wow.
Yeah, I've played it every year since it came out, at least once throughout the year. So I might as well go out with that.
Go out with a bang. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Vin, dare I ask?
Pornhub VR. It'd be over in 30 seconds.
Hey, at least she didn't say jumping flash. There you go.
No, I would pick Skies of Arcadia, of course, because then the whole world has 200 more hours to live. So.
You're going to take him on for the team. I mean,
Yeah,
on boxies,
I'm
that would be
taking
the
it.
same with The Witcher. He could really stretch it out.
Yeah, sure.
Would be kind of making them stretch it out at that point. You just keep playing it, boxy.
I'd make a 1,000-hour playthrough out of this. So
Oh dear me. For me, God, I don't know what it would be, to be honest. There's so many games, and there's so many games I love. Years ago, I probably would have said Final Fantasy, but these days, I don't think I would say that.
Song of Iron.
No,
You're
I
the
wouldn't
you're
even
the
say
main
God of
star.
War. I mean, God of War was my game of the year, but I wouldn't even say that. I don't know. There's few that really stick with you a lot. I would probably say, and it's
They hit different now, you know?
yeah, more of a sentimental value than anything else. I would probably go out chilling on Flight Sim. Flight Sim's a very, like I say, sentimental thing for me, and how I've been kind of brought up as a gamer and to look at things. So Flight Sim would be mine, and of course that is countless hours of flying around. So I could stretch it out for infinity, to be fair, and I'd be good. I would be all alive for a long time. But yeah, Flight Sim for me, I think. Overall, I think there's just so many possibilities in that one as well, and the universe and everything that goes along with it. Lost Forever plays. You're taking one on the chin there, brother. He says Balan Wonderland.
Wow.
Oh dear God. Did you just want to go down in flames? Oh dear.
You know he finished Elden Ring.
Well-
Yeah. Next question, a little one, much easier one. This one comes from Gamers Watch Podcast. Boxy, we'll start with yourself again. If you could have any PlayStation exclusive come to the Xbox, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with the same game BitCloud mentioned, Spider-Man.
Don't touch my
That
Spider-Man.
game is so good.
It's so good because it's over here. Don't touch my PlayStation. Don't touch it.
No, that game is so good. A lot more people need to play that, so I'm gonna go with that.
Awesome stuff. Sean, what about yourself?
Leisure Suit Larry.
I'm sensing a theme.
No, probably it's an old game. So if it was kind of like to come over, it'd have to be reimagined. But Siphon Filter.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Good shout. Good shout. Yeah. A nice reboot of Siphon Filter on the Xbox. Ooh, nice. Good answer. Good answer. BitCloud, I know obviously you're if PlayStation didn't exist.
I like how he has the alternate.
Then gaming wouldn't exist.
Yeah. If all PlayStation IPs were suddenly available to the Xbox, what one would you want to play on Xbox?
Don't worry, I'm being recorded, so I got to say none. Sorry, none. No. Honestly, I'm trying to go back in time with this. I'm gonna go hit a gym here. I'm gonna probably say because I want. Honestly, we haven't seen a sequel to this. We haven't gotten this game reimagined yet, and I would love more eyes on it personally. I would say Jack and Daxter at this point.
Good
That's
shout.
the other one I was thinking
Yeah.
of. I was between
Yeah.
that and Siphon Filter.
It's a very
That would
good
definitely
shout.
be it.
Very good shout. Mick, what about yourself? Out of all of the PlayStation exclusives that are out there, what would you love to see come across to the Xbox?
Are we able to pick future ones? Or
Yeah.
is this just ones that are already
Yeah,
out?
yeah.
Oh, I
If
don't
it's
say
future ones.
He's gonna
then
say Wolverine.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I'm a Wolverine. I'm a Wolverine fan, so that would be the one for me. So I'll be picking that one up on PC.
Awesome stuff.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah.
How'd I know? How'd I know? So you said future. How'd I know?
It's coming. I reckon that one on day and date. I think by that point, it's a good few years out yet. Let's face it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Vin, what about yourself? Any PlayStation exclusive? And thankfully, you've been playing quite a lot of them recently because you now have a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I do.
So
And the plates are are
Yes,
on
the
their way
plates are on the way to
you,
me to customize. So
yeah. No, but if I could pick one game that would be SOCOM, and just for the reason that if Sony isn't making it, then then let Xbox do it.
yeah,
that's
let
the main
Xbox bring
reason.
all that.
Yeah, multiplayer.
But it's the same for Dark Cloud. It's an RPG from the PlayStation 2, I think it was.
That's one with the girl, right? Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, wait. They had to, you had this RPG, and then you rescue characters, and then they come to your village, and you have to build the village as well.
Yes.
That was a great game.
Yes,
So, but
Yes, it
I will
was.
go with SOCOM. That's my choice.
That's a great pick.
How about you, Drew?
All right.
And yours, Touch.
Do you know what it is? I would, out of all of the games I've played on the PlayStation that I've actually, there's been some great games, but the one game, of course, that you know that I've played, I platinumed in opening weekend, and that is God of War, and I'd love to see God of War over on Xbox. I think the storytelling, specifically from Cory Barlog and his team, for God of War 2018 was masterful. The way they told the lore in that game was absolutely awesome. As a big Norse fan and fan of Norse mythology, etc., I loved how Mimir told all the stories when you were just traversing around the world. And how they brought the world serpent into the game and kind of really brought the worlds alive there. I thought it was an awesome adaptation of a Norse world in God of War specifically. So
Game still to this day has the most badass like mid, I guess, credit type of ending scene.
Yes.
When you go
back
home
to the
after
house.
you beat the story and you see it thundering and crackling, it's like, yep, you sold me on part 2. It's like, yeah, you sold me. As soon as I saw you in there, I was like, oh.
And you know what it is? It's one of the best opening boss fights as well with a stranger.
Baldur.
Oh,
Baldur.
God, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that. He's like, just leave my house. He just falcon punches you 40 meters. Like, holy hell.
It was the fact that you punch him or slap him or something at the front door, and he's just like, "Oh, is that it?" Like, I was expecting a bit more from you, and then he goes to bray you. Just
I mean, the entire combat in that game it just feels so brutal, so heavy. It is something very unique.
Yeah,
it's great. It's not as graphic as like God of War 3, right? God of War 3, I think, was like so much more graphic, but this one, I thought they did great for what they were going for, like the tone, like just you actually feel the impact of those punches, especially when the controller shakes on it, you feel that. So they did a good job at that. It's just I think God of War 3 was like the one that just still stands out because of how brutal you kill these gods.
Yeah,
in God of War 3, like it's just
legendary. Yeah,
dude, when you fight,
when you like kill Hermes, that was so good.
Like Kronos, oh my god, dude! When he swallows, okay, you think it's over, and you're cutting through his stomach. Like, okay, this is crazy. He gets his stomach. So love that. It was just brilliant how they did that game.
So yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see God of War come over. To be fair, this one's a little bit more like the other one if the world ended. So I think General C and the other question was pretty much the same. He asks,
may I just?
Do you want to jump
I gotta go.
That's fine. That's fine. Boxy, let people know where they can find you. I know you've got an awesome show on tomorrow. If you let people know, of course, who you've got on tomorrow for the World of Gaming podcast.
Exactly, and I do have the Indie Gamer as a guest. Can't wait. We are going to discuss, of course, about some great indie games coming in 2022, but of course we will also discuss what you have coming up on Saturday, and a few other topics, of course. It's going to be awesome. 8 p.m. Central Europe, that's 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time. The World of Gaming. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. But for now, I gotta go. I have to get up early, and I gotta go to the office tomorrow. So,
it's unfortunate. But...
Tschüss, Brody.
Good to see you, man.
See you guys.
Have an awesome night, brother.
Liebe dich.
You guys too.
Hope to see you again soon.
Awesome stuff. So yes, General C asks pretty much the same question. If you could only play one game for the rest of your life, what would it be? A little bit different. You're not dead this time, so BitCloud, I'll let you go first.
You don't throw me to the wolves, so boy.
That's easy.
Eternity game I'm playing for eternity. See, if we're going from net, Jesus, hold up. Let me have to go do the game share for a second. Considering the fact that I practically lived on House of the Dead as a kid, that's literally all I played on the Xbox. I probably would go to House of the Dead just because of the heartstrings by itself. But I'll hold that up there. But also, damn, there's so many games here. Which game do I want to be tortured with? Basically, what you asked me. I would say for me, it would have to be. I can't believe I'm saying this, but honestly, this is probably my favorite game of all time. Up there, I would say Uncharted 2.
Okay.
I could play Uncharted 2. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
I'll do that.
Probably one of the best Uncharted's as well, to be fair.
Oh, dude, it'll always be the GOAT in terms of story. That's it. They killed it with Uncharted 2.
Yeah. But with the movie coming up now, right? They picked the wrong Sony.
Yeah, everybody's saying he did good. I didn't watch it, but I'm hearing good things about his performance. So a lot of people said,
really?
It works for what they did. So it's possible. Like, for example, you know how Robert Pattinson's playing Batman in the new one, right? I don't know if you watched the new Batman movie. It worked for what they were going for. You know what I mean? Like the Robert Pattinson style Batman. So it might be the same vibe for it.
Better, but I still liked.
Batfleck was scary. You know what I mean? When you see Batfleck, like, okay, I'm not getting in this dude's face right now. like the way he looked, but you know, that's how they did it.
Awesome stuff. Mick, if you had to play one game for all of eternity, what would it be?
It's too easy. It's got to be Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
I've been playing Sea of Thieves since day one. I'm still playing it daily. Still gets updates. And as long as, they're going to keep updating it for the foreseeable future, I'm good for a while at least with content. After that, I think I'd be good to just keep going. That'd be mine.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Vin, one game for all of eternity. What would you play?
Oh, I'm shouting for 22 years now to get a remake, so I will do it for eternity. Skies of Arcadia. Yeah.
Fair enough.
At least I could do for eternity then.
There's so many gems. Like, I'm surprised nobody said Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Or Dino Crisis. There's so many gems that you can just pick.
Yeah, but
from.
You know what the thing is? I have the Skies of Arcadia thing. It's still my favorite game ever. So if I have to play one game for eternity and shout to people, that Sega needs to remaster it, then at least let me do it for eternity then. So Skies of Arcadia.
We've had some awesome comments in the chat as well, and barely making rent. Yes, if your game has mods available for it that you choose to play forever, then yes, you get mods.
Yeah, Mr. Joanna Dark says, "What if there's no internet to me?" I'm like, well, that wasn't part of the deal.
Yeah, I didn't say
nobody said that.
You have permanent, sustainable 2 gigabit internet. There you go. Perfectly fine. Sean, what about yourself, brother? What would you play for eternity?
It's a tough one, this. I was kind of thinking, well, maybe a games as a service because it'll always evolve and things like that. But I'm probably going to have to go with one of the GOATs of all time, being Witcher 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's plenty to do in that, plus the expansions. Plus you'd get the next-gen update with Netflix Witcher expansion, etc. that goes onto it. So, yeah. It's an awesome answer. I'd probably, as much as I haven't played as much of it, as much as I haven't played as much of it over the years, I think if I had to sit in a world that was imaginative, creative, and great to look at, I'm going to have to go with Xbox Mick on this one and say Sea of Thieves.
We're on the seas together, mate, for all eternity. Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Yeah, part of the ship, part of the crew. Mainly, like I say, it's the ever-evolving stories. The world itself is ginormous, but it's beautiful to look at. You can sit there and just relax. If you want to just relax and fish, you can do that. If you want to go out and do some quests, you can do that. Play some stories, you can do that. just sail the world and explore the scenery. There's so much to do, and you can either chill or fight with people or whatever you want to do. There's so much potential of that game, and continually going forward, there's so much potential. So if I had to play a game that was ever evolving and had new stuff quite a lot going forward, it would most certainly be Sea of Thieves. Yeah. Last one's a bit of a different one, and I hope people have played this generation. I know Vin has. From JP, he asks, if you could bring back one game from Mega Drive Genesis generation, what would it be? And then he finishes off, tongue-in-cheek, and why is it Strike Series from EA? But yeah, if you had to pick one game from the Mega Drive or Genesis generation to bring back, what would it be? BitCloud.
Oh, Genesis. Oh,
Yeah. Shining Force.
Nah, I won't even go with Shining Force. So a lot of y'all might cringe when I say this, but so back then, movie license games were actually pretty good.
Good.
Ghostbusters.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Toy Story.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Good
I'm gonna go
shout.
right there. That was it. That was it. As a kid, man, that was it, boy. Oof. Especially they go the claw. You had to fight the claw.
Oh, really good shout. Really good shout. I'll go next on this one. I'm actually going to say it, and this is a strange one, but it would be awesome to see it more in the, if we think more in the Ori style, Echo the Dolphin.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I forgot about Echo the Dolphin. Yeah,
If you do that Ori style, that's a brilliant idea, Drew.
Yeah.
that could work. Yeah,
Even
Yeah.
including the art style and things like that. It is pretty much like an underwater Metroidvania in itself. So yeah.
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 Echo the
That's a
Dolphin.
great idea, by the way.
damn, Kid Chameleon. That's another good one in the chat. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Fantasy Star.
Oh yeah,
Sean,
Vector.
what about yourself, brother? What would you bring back?
Let's shoot Larry.
This is a hard one that wasn't on the Mega Drive, I'm afraid.
Just don't say
So
Batman. Just don't say Batman Forever. Just don't say that.
I don't know. There's Lemmings. There's Echo was one I was thinking. Earthworm Jim.
Cannon
Earthworm
Fodder.
Jim. Yeah. Earthworm Jim.
Kind of
Yeah.
fodder. Toe Jam and Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl.
I think I'm gonna go with. I don't know if anyone remembers this one. X-Men 2: Clone Wars.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I vaguely remember it, but I do
It was
remember
the-
it, yeah. That's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
shout.
That sounds familiar. Oh no, next one.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Awesome. Vin, if you could bring back any from the Mega Drive / Genesis generation, what would you bring back?
Oh, there's a lot of choices, but I would go with Shining Force
Yeah.
1 and 2, or Boogerman.
Ooh. Okay.
But my first pick would be Shining Force 1 and 2. But Boogerman, you know, where you have this farting and burping guy, that was also brilliant. So. But
Bring back the
I-
nostalgia.
yeah, but if I pick one, it's Shining Force 100%.
Yes. Yes. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Mick, Mega Drive Genesis generation, what would you bring back?
I'm gonna say I said it before, Golden Axe, but I was torn because I think I could be wrong. Somebody can correct me, but do you remember Clay Fighters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Clay Fighters was brilliant. I loved Clay Fighters when it came out, and that was that sort of a Street Fighter clone with all the plasticine kind of characters all pummeling the crap out of each other.
Was it that Super Nintendo?
Well, I can't. This is what I mean. I can't remember whether it was on Mega Drive or whether it was on SNES. Whether it was.
I thought that was SNES. But
Yeah, it might have been, which is why in the end I decided to go with Golden Axe, just because I had so many memories of that on the arcade and on Mega Drive. So yeah,
Ghostbusters.
But
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
Ghostbusters
that's
brilliant.
I think Mr. Joanna Dark said the same thing as well. It's Golden Axe. It was such a great game at its time.
Yeah, it was.
That little dwarf with a massive axe.
Yeah.
2 players beating the crap out of Death Adder at the end. Just yeah. brilliant.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing these community questions as well for the podcast, so I'm going to do them going forward as well. I think they're really, really cool and interactive, specifically some very strange ones as well, and very specific ones, like, of course, having to die and only playing a game as our last resort.
UK Dazzlers has just come up with Super Hang On as well. Forgot about that.
Yeah,
That was brilliant.
also brilliant.
Yeah. Eternal Champions by Mr. Joanna Dark. Clay Fighter. Yeah.
Clay Fighter. Yeah.
Oh, Clay Fight was on both. Yeah. It was also on Mega Drive. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was, but there was also Mr. Joanna Dark said Clay Fighters. They did a 64 version as well. Right.
Is
later
it?
on.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And
Outrun.
Outrun.
Kappa grants
Daytona
a question.
USA.
Yes, the Indie Showcase is this weekend coming up. That is correct. I'll be talking about that in a little bit, but I'm going to give these awesome gentlemen an outro. First and foremost, Big Cloud Gaming, brother. Again, pleasure. Thank you for coming on again this week. Awesome panel member as always.
Yeah.
A lot of awesome.
And a new super fan. I'm a new super fan of you. Thank you for all the Sega love.
Dude, Sega was everybody's life as a kid, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That was everybody's life.
You hear that, Mick?
Nah, I mean, if you didn't go to the arcade and you didn't just look around and just saw 90% of the damn machines that be Sega, you didn't. You clearly were missing something.
So while you were playing Sega Mega Drive, I had an arcade machine back then. So I didn't need a Mega Drive because I had the arcade games and an uncle who used to run a business making them. So, you know.
What? You know that we here in Rotterdam, I don't know if you have it in UK as well, but we have this arcade halls coming back with retro arcade machines.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, we have them coming back here, and it's still 90%. It's still Sega, man.
I will for the next time on the show. I'll dig out one of the arcade boards and show it you.
I've been to that like 2 months ago.
It's massive. It'll fill the screen.
2 months.
It doesn't
like
feel
right
the
back
same
to the
though
wood.
when we talk about them, because you know that used to be like the biggest attraction aside from like all the other stuff that we used to have. Like for example, Dave and Buster's. I don't know if you ever went there before. Dave and Buster's was like oasis for a lot of us. To go and chill, hang out, good food, good games. Now
we don't have that here in Holland.
We don't have that in the UK, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, they I think they're done with them, but yeah, no, that was the thing about it. And now we have the retro. I don't want to say the retro machines being sold. They're more like just emulated machines with just the games, like a bunch of ROMs on them.
Yeah.
Oh no, we have Game State here. Game State is called, and they have the original old machines.
Oh, so they have the OGs, like the artwork. Okay, those are boards. Oh, okay.
I've been there like 2 months ago with Erwin and Buddy and Emil Pairplug. We went there, and there's also even the 4-player co-op Outrun. You know, where you can race each other. They're all back.
I wonder how much they're selling those for, because I know they're making a killing, but they're selling them for like 600 for those ROM ones. You know, talking about with the LEDs that go in the bar. Yeah, they sell those. But I'm not sure how much the OG iconic ones are going for.
Expensive.
They probably are, but you know, it's constantly busy.
In the UK, we've got like a traveling, like a retro arcade museum thing. So it was in Newcastle not long ago, and it was much like what Vin's talking about. We bring back all of the in the museum, the Life Centre in Newcastle, and they bring back all of the old arcade games and all of the old consoles, including like the Commodore and things like that, and they plug them all in and set them all up and just let the public kind of experience all of these classic units and game consoles and arcade machines and everything, as original, not emulated.
Oh, dude, I feel like a kid going to some shit like that again. I was wrote this experience on the machines again, especially the classic House of the Dead with the little curtain you close and then you're just shooting at the little
yeah.
Oh man, good times.
It was good times.
Even those curtains are still there.
Yeah.
At Game State, you still have the curtains. You have to close them, and it says Sega on it, so it's brilliant. Then.
Oh wow, it's got the Sega curtains.
Yeah.
Mr. Joanna Dark says we still have a Dave and Buster's in my area, So they're
yeah?
still going. They're still going because when they did that Halo arcade machine,
Yes.
they were.
Oh,
they were
yeah,
the
it
ones
was
that had it.
exclusive. Yeah, it was exclusive to Dave and
There's,
Buster's.
there's
Yeah.
one of them in Southport. Apparently, my mate lives there in the cinema. So I'm going down sometime so we can have a go on that.
Yeah, because I was curious if the attention is kind of still there for Dave and Buster's, because everybody's more all over the place, digitally.
Can we just give a shout out to Shombalon's cat that's joined the podcast?
I was going to say Shom's getting a bit
Such a
frisky.
needy thing.
But no, it was always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem,
Appreciate
brother. What have you got coming up this week? I know you're obviously always working on new things and new guests. So what have you got coming up?
Well, so aside from next month, I'm waiting for Jeff Keighley to get back with me because we're trying to get Jeff Keighley on the show.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. But this week we have Gaz from Game On Daily.
Yes, that's gonna be saucy.
And we got Hustle and Motivate. I'm at the Ask Asa as well, so we have a pretty good panel for it. The funny thing about it is not a whole bunch happened this week in terms of news, worldly wise.
Yeah.
But it's cool when you have a good panel because you all can just bounce off each other and just have fun with it. So I'm looking forward to this week for sure, just because of that. So also looking forward to having you guys on eventually. We're gonna have to do like a super show crossover. Yeah,
100%, 100%. Shombalon and Shombalon's cat. If you want to let people know where they can find you.
This man passed the mic to the cat.
Her name's Purdy, I'll have you know.
Oh no.
Okay, Shombalon and Purdy, where can we find you both?
You can find me on Twitter under just Shombalon, not Purdy. And Xbox, I have no idea what I'm doing this week. I'm just going with how the wind takes me. Shombalon and Purdy, yeah. I won't make a reference to what other cats are called. Just
boy.
Isn't that game coming out soon? That on PlayStation, the cat game?
Stray, yeah.
Stray, yeah.
Yes, it actually looks
I thought
really
it was
good.
Coming out near launch.
The more I've seen it.
Oh yeah, I remember when we did our show on the PlayStation thing, and I said that was one I was keeping an eye on because it looked just really chilled out.
Yeah,
it does.
It's coming soon, right?
Yeah, I don't know when was it again?
This year, I think.
It is this year. I can't remember the actual date on it actually.
Oh, I thought it was this summer, but
this looks awesome right here. Did you guys see it, by the way?
What?
Among Us VR.
No.
Dude,
oh yeah,
dude, it looks awesome. This is going
yeah. I see Mr. Tushi spread it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I put it in the chat here for you guys.
Nice.
Dude, it looks awesome. Look at that. Wow.
It's got to be the longest outro I think we've ever done.
Yeah. We'll be having a look at that in the background.
No. Wait till we have Pong Soul on.
I know. Pong will keep it going. Vin, where can people find you, brother? What you got coming up? What streams are you doing next?
I finished Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
And next game is Eternal Sonata on the 360. Because it's still not backwards compatible, so I re-plugged in the 360, so I'm going to play that. And I'm going to finish the after story, how you say that? The end game of Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
On the Series X. And I'm going to continue Elden Ring and Returnal on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And Luigi's Mansion and Super Smash on the Nintendo Switch.
Nice. Do a lot.
Yeah, I have a lot. I have a lot coming up, but I'm pretty busy in in the life outside of gaming. So
yeah,
I have to make time for it at the moment. But I will make it tomorrow on my Twitch channel. I will start Eternal Sonata, and then hopefully I can continue next week if I got the time.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Sweet.
And that's about it, I think.
Awesome stuff. And obviously everyone can find
you can find me basically anywhere. Hertog Phoenix on Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live, PlayStation, what's it called? Online network.
Yep.
Nintendo Switch. My friend code is on Twitter.
Nice.
OnlyFans, Pornhub, whatever. I'm everywhere. So,
And
and of course,
go on.
here on the show.
Yes. Of course, when you're not at work, are you here again next week, or are you at work next week?
Friday, Saturday. Wait. I think I can join. I'm coming out of night shift, so it's my first day off. So
You should be all right. Sweet.
yeah, I should be all right. Yeah.
Sorry, be
Sweet,
asleep
sweet.
then.
No. If I'm sleeping, then it wouldn't be okay. So.
And Mick, last but not least, brother, where can people find yourself, and when are you next streaming? I know you do some awesome streams on the weekend as well, but yeah, where can I find you?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm I stream every Sunday with Sightless Gaming and some of the other guys from the Keelhole crew, playing various games, Sea of Thieves, Minecraft Dungeons, Gears 5, pretty much anything that we can has good accessibility for Sightless. So yeah, that's and I think I think the plan this Sunday is to play Hive Busters and get him through the campaign on Hive Busters. So that'll be good.
There's this guy. He has the same accent as Drew. Did you notice?
So there's that, and obviously Tuesdays with yourself, Dutch.
Yes.
Becoming a regular thing now. We're sticking on the Sea of Thieves theme. So yeah, that's good. And I've been doing a bit of streaming of Lego Star Wars with sometimes with my daughter as well, because she enjoys it. So yeah, it's good. It's good, all good fun. And obviously you can find me on Twitter and YouTube.
Awesome stuff. And last but not least, of course, you can find myself everywhere at WandrinDutch right here for both the Midweek Mix-Up podcast and the weekend edition with the General C. A little bit of news, obviously, for yourselves as well. Mr. Irwin has taken a little bit of a step back for the moment with some back issues. He's trying to heal up a little bit properly before he starts being able to really sit down for long periods of time doing podcasting and things like that. He's not even able to really do any of his sim racing share and stuff at the moment as well. So he's a bit wound up about that, but he's going to take a little bit of time just to step back, recover, get his back in check again, and when he's fit and able, he'll be returning to the podcast. But yeah, taking a little bit of a step back for now, but he will return.
Get well soon, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until then,
it's shit period for him.
But... Yeah. He's worn it. He's doing a lot of traveling and things at the minute as well, and obviously he's family issues and things as well. So it's understandable, of course. Any one of our members can obviously come and go as they please, and especially if it's family issues or health issues, it's always family and health first. Go and do what you need if you're sick. As you've known, when I was sick the other week, we definitely had to take a time off because I was unavailable for everything. Couldn't speak, couldn't talk. So it happens, but we continue. We've got an awesome group of guys, an awesome panel, an awesome community. But yes, you can find me everywhere at WandrinDutch on Twitter, on YouTube, of course, the 2 Midweek Mix-Up podcasts, and of course this weekend, what we've been working on for quite a while now, which is the Community Indie Showcase 2022. 12 awesome content creators, over 100 games, about 107 games in total, 3 hours of awesome games shown, 8 giveaways. One, of course, will be Twitter-based, but it'll be involving interaction with the show. So it'll be best comments, essentially, regarding the show. We're going to put out kind of a question that goes along with it and use a hashtag to make sure people are commenting correctly. That giveaway will be for Ollie Ollie World, which just came out more recently. That one will be provided by awesome community member Crazy Louie. We also have another 7 of those games that will be given away throughout the course of the showcase as well, for games that have either just come out, been out for a little while, or even games that are not yet out. And if they're already out on a service, we'll give them for a competing service. So, for instance, if a game's on Gamepass, we'll support the game on an additional platform where most people might not have picked it up. So we'll get a key for that area. But yes, some awesome game giveaways, some awesome creators, and of course a special appearance by Aaron Greenberg from Xbox, who will be joining to give an awesome message for the community there as well. So from all of us, thank you again for the awesome support and the awesome chat. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you for everybody for tuning in, for the super chats, and hope you all have an awesome evening. Have a good night, and we'll see you all again next time. Goodbye.
Take care, guys.
Love you all.